All right, there we go.
We exist?
We exist. We
Cool.
are on the tubes. We are coming to you live. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 417. Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm Vince.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Spotify or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk tech, servers, computers, beer, home lab, all kinds of fun stuff. It's always a great show. Today's episode is brought to you by Meter. More on them later in the video, and you can check out the link down in the video description. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give some early show shout-outs as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat or the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server, which is where I met so many freaking awesome people. Not excluding Vince.
There's a lot of us, and we might get into some of that later in the show too.
Yeah. I've been asked to watch a preview video later in the show, and you'll see why that's relevant later. But I have not seen it yet, so we're going to be surprised together.
No, I'm not surprised. He actually asked me to watch it first just to approve it for the show, and we're good.
Okay.
So you have my blessing to air this video on the show.
Okay. Makes me anxious putting something on my show that I have not seen before, but okay.
Especially who it's coming from.
Yes. Join the awesome community that hangs out over on the Discord server all week long. And I know I said last but not least, but also if you want to help support the channel, head on over to craftcomputing.store. Pick up some of my fantastic merch. All of it is designed and made right here in-house. Wallets, pint glasses, whiskey stones, coasters, all kinds of great, fantastic merchandise. Yeah, if you like the minimalist wallet look, in fact, I have your business card on the back of here still. I still haven't taken it off.
Nice.
Yeah, if you want minimalist wallets, we sell them over there with a whole bunch of different geeky engravings, and I've even done a couple custom orders. So if you want something custom on there, reach out, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah, everybody likes pew pew lasers. Come on, go for it.
Exactly. And my lasers are so much fun. They are so much fun to get to tinker with.
Yeah, I need to come down to your workshop sometime and see what you got set up. Like, you keep bragging about it, but I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Yeah. For anyone who likes any kind of maker gear, I'm really trying to build out a full maker studio. So right now I've got 3 3D printers and then 3 different lasers. The printers are nothing like extraordinarily special. I've got 2 Bamboo Labs P1Ss, and then I've also got a highly custom Prusa Mark MK3S Plus, and it's got a Dragonfly hot end and custom software and all bunch of fun stuff. But
real quick, Green is pointing out my icon. Yes, 3DFX, we did it.
Yes. And then I've got 2. I've got 1 standard CO2 40 watt Chinese knockoff laser, $400 on AliExpress. But then I've also got a pair of Galvo lasers, which are the giant arm ones with the rotating mirrors. It's kind of like an inverse DLP projector, where I'm using a series of rotating mirrors to draw a beam in whatever pattern I want down below. So the gantry head doesn't move. Instead, it points the laser where it wants to go.
Yeah, speaking of that tech specifically, real quick, to sidetrack a little.
Yeah.
Just this week or last week, a few days ago, Slow Mo Guys did a video on the Virtual Boy display, because that's actually how the Virtual Boy display works.
It's exactly the same concept. Yes.
It's a line of LEDs that do not move. There is a mirror in front of them that moves back and forth to simulate drawing across the screen.
Yep. No, that
really cool to watch that finally.
Yeah, that exact same tech is what draws patterns down on my cutting surface. Is exactly that same mirror tech.
Yeah, so if you guys want to see what Jeff is explaining right here, go watch the slow-mo guys video on the Virtual Boy, because it's the exact same thing except replace LEDs with lasers and killing people.
Yeah, it technically
Maybe not that last part.
Yeah. Technically, it's a galvanometer, I believe, is what the display tech is called, or what the reflection tech is called, because you're using two alternating mirrors bending whichever direction to point one pinpoint of light in an exact XY coordinate.
Right.
And then I've got a focusing lens on the end of it to give me my focal length down to the projected surface. So.
Yeah, to concentrate the beam into one spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, really fun to use and really freakishly fast. I can cut one of these wallets in like 30 seconds. That
quick? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Jeff, we're gonna have to talk about some projects.
Yeah. So my Xeon Stone coasters. I mean, this is a 4-inch coaster, so you're looking at what, 16 square inches of real estate on here. This is my slowest cutting coaster, and I think it cuts in 1:45.
I don't have my Doom coasters in reach, but I can see them.
Yeah. I've got a whole stack of alternate coasters, all the different designs I keep on my back bar, so I can just grab one and slap it down, and now I've got a different one to show. But the Xeon's my favorite. I love the bottom of this. It's going to be a good show. We've got some more AI talk. We've got some more component shortage talk. We've got Microsoft doing Microsofty things. Every year we say it's going to be the year of the Linux desktop, but Microsoft somehow manages to not completely cut off their own foot. They're starting 2026 by doing their best.
Microsoft going to Microsoft it. So before we get into the news, I just want to talk a little bit about history of Microsoft. Bill Gates was seen as like the evil overlord of tech of the entire world, right?
Yeah.
Ballmer came in and was just like, hey, developers. And the thing is, like, he didn't just say that as a meme or to make a meme or anything. Like, he did a lot for engineering developer tools and making that the focus of the entire company. And in that era, Visual Studio was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then Nadella, who came from Azure, he was the head of Azure before becoming head of Microsoft.
Yeah.
Well, Azure was making money, so hey, this guy makes money, make him in charge, and then he's just doing whatever it takes to make money, and he doesn't care about tech any way that I see at all.
Yep, exactly.
So it's just kind of like, it's kind of been sad. Like, we've had this roller coaster, and we're like the bottom, and it's like we're gonna bottom out and crash here soon.
Yeah. Not only that, it seems like oops, sorry, one sec. There we go. It seems like he is abandoning his main moneymaker products, which for Microsoft was Windows, Office, and various other subscription services. I mean, those were their cash cows.
Well, that was the Microsoft and Ballmer era, but like Azure, the reason they brought him up because Azure was making more money than everything else combined.
Right, exactly.
And so they're like, hey, this guy makes more money. He took us from a multi-billion to $1 trillion company. But the thing is, even then, like Azure, they don't even care about anymore. Like AI is supplanting even cloud-hosted services.
Right. Well, at least it isn't capital expense. I don't know about bringing money in at this point. Yeah. Oh, well, it's a good thing he's probably got that golden parachute ready.
I mean, isn't that one of the requirements of becoming CEO?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. I just love when organizations like tech companies and NFL ownership and things like that, once you become a CEO of a company, once you're a Microsoft, it doesn't matter how hard you fail, you will fall into the same job at another equally sized company. You don't
or just retire.
Or just retire, right.
Because you're set for life.
Yeah. But you go from one golden parachute to another. I mean, how many HPE execs have shown up in various other positions, like knowingly failed HP execs have shown up in shown up over at Oracle, shown up over at Microsoft as like senior level executives.
Oh God. If you want the history of something like that, look at everybody that entered and left Yahoo.
Yeah.
Like that is the Rolodex right there.
Yeah. But I look over at the NFL, not to make this all about sports. I know you like some sports ball every once in a while. But 1/3 of the NFL is currently in a head coaching search. And you know who the candidates are? The 11 coaches who were fired.
That's part of it. I mean, admittedly, though, a lot of the search is also looking for, let's say, the number 2 or number 3 position from another team. So you'll have like an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator also kind of in those head funds. But
right,
you do bring up a really interesting point. Just in a more broader perspective. Just a couple of nights ago, I actually watched a full documentary on the history of the Green Bay Packers and their ownership structure. And it's something I didn't really think about or even really know about. This actually came up from your Discord. It might have been you, might have been somebody else mentioning that there is one NFL team that does not have a single monolithic owner. It's actually publicly owned. And a lot of the documentary is talking about like why Green Bay, like what is that city known for besides just that team? When you have Milwaukee just, like an hour or two away? I think it was Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, it's less than an hour, I think.
It's the big city. And it talks about how the NFL started 100 years ago, and all these like small industrial mining towns, manufacturing towns, things like that. And it was just the workers, like as labor laws started progressing and workers getting weekends, what do you do on weekends? Some of them played sports and the others watched sports for entertainment. But eventually the markets grew too large and they're like, oh, let's move these to big cities like Chicago, New York, things like that. But Green Bay, rather than folding, they transformed it into a publicly owned entity. And that's why they're locked in that city, because there's no single owner who can move the team at this point. And so it's actually really interesting to watch. And like, I'd love to see the same kind of thing happen like for us in tech. Like, we're seeing all the stuff in different companies right now, especially in the gaming industry, about unionization. But that's only like step one. From there, I'd actually like to see, instead of monolithic ownership or IPOs, things like that, what if we had public ownership of creative and technological outlets? And what would that do for a company where your goal is to literally serve the people rather than serve the shareholders?
Yeah. I mean, and to some extent, that is like the goal of open source projects. But the problem is open source project doesn't have a billion individual users who each own $1 of share within that organization. If we did, I think open source would be a lot more powerful than it is.
100%.
But the money's not there. The money is over in private equity and venture capital and all these other aspects that you learn to hate in the corporate world, especially in the tech world. So yeah, interesting concept, blending that ownership style into something like open source. I mean, obviously over the last year, I've been really excited about distros like Bazite really starting to pop off on like general acceptance. And I'm seeing actually people migrate over there because they're getting so fed up with all the Windows BS that keeps getting shoveled onto them.
Yeah. As Michaels points out, that all makes sense because of that, it will never work. That's exactly it.
Right.
So like being tech enthusiasts that we're actually tech professionals, you and I, and a bunch of people in chat and whatnot. And when talking with people at different skill levels, it's always like, oh, you're better than me, or this person's better than that. And something I like to say in reply is like, no, nobody's better than anybody. We're all differently experienced, right?
Yes.
And a lot of the reasons I really started getting into sports and different sports and just different hobbies and activities in general is to learn, different things about the world. How do things work outside of my world? How did different people tackle these problems? Because as a software engineer myself, historically, like I've always struggled on the business side, but then looking at the story of the Green Bay Packers, it's like I'm learning a lot about business. And there's a bunch of other businesses far outside of tech that I've been researching and studying about, because it's just like there's a lot of similarities there that we can start pulling in these different knowledges, these different experiences, and kind of expanding our world and ecosystem. What are you drinking there?
I just poured myself one of my favorite local favorites. This is from Ninkasi Brewing down in Eugene. Semi-regional distribution. You'll see a couple of their bigger beers up, but this is Dawn of the Red. This is a Northwest Red IPA. So it's kind of a red ale blended with that West Coast, very akin to like a Stone IPA as far as flavor goes. But these are one of our favorites. I also miss the original cans because Ninkasi went back to like these monochrome design cans. They all kind of have the same overall design. Dawn of the Red used to be like a zombie apocalypse oil painting.
Cool.
Megalodon was a painting of the Megalodon, fish as it existed a billion years ago. They had different dinosaurs for all of. They have a bunch of dinosaur themed beers, and so they have Triceratops as one and whatnot. They had all these dinosaurs just immaculately painted. They were very, very unique. And somewhere along the line, they went, no, we're going to go with just monochrome color cans. It's like, bad move. I hate these. But the beer is still good.
You have a super chat there.
I do. Taylor chimes in with $5. Thank you so much, Taylor. Much appreciated. Did you previously say that Portland's local data centers are negatively many neighborhoods?
I'm guessing impacting is probably missing a word there.
Portland, not necessarily. I mean, Portland's also always had a fairly data-heavy presence.
Especially Hillsborough, like out the suburbs. Yeah. Hillsborough is where like Intel R&D and a lot of data centers are sitting over there because of that.
Yeah.
Former company I worked at, a telco, we actually rented out colo space, and I was one of the 4 engineers to go and rack and stack the data center there. So that was a fun project for a week to just unload pallets and shove them into racks, like 48U high.
Yep.
42, 48, whatever the hell we were working with at the time.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I don't think anything within Portland as far as data centers negatively impacts Portland. There is some negative impact on the state of Oregon from data centers. If you look over at the Dalles, if you look at Sandy, if you look at some of the areas east of Portland that have had major influxes of data centers. You've got Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, all of them have Apple, all of them have massive data centers and farms over in that area. And they didn't invest properly in power. They didn't invest properly in water. They didn't, and the local cities and counties are having to basically offset and subsidize a lot of the expenses over there. So not great. They do bring some jobs, but as a data center, once they're installed, you only need 100 employees to keep the whole thing up and running. Like, it's not really a huge endeavor on a daily basis to maintain one of those. So yeah, not great. And this was before the AI influx. We were complaining about the power load. Oh no, a full gigawatt. What are we going to do? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got some unsweetened roasted green tea right now.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Solid choice. I was actually considering going upstairs and making a cup of tea before the show and starting off with that. But didn't get time to, so I guess I'll drink a beer.
Oh, hey, look, there's another super chat.
Hey, super chat. This one's from Vince, friend of the show. Hello, Vince. Sends in 417, expectation failed. There could not be a more appropriate one for when you join the show.
Yep.
My first drink of the night is Incline Cider Imperial Cherry, 8.4%. That is a good one. Incline has... I'm kind of 50-50 on theirs. Like, they have some really good stuff, and then they have some other stuff that I'm like, eh. But I do like their cherry, and if I remember right, they have a pineapple that's also fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually not had the cherry until literally right now. You asked me to be on the show, and I'm like, my fridge is empty. I have 1 can total in my fridge right now, and we usually have at least 2 on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, what do we got at the shop across the street? So I picked this up. I have something else for later. Nothing fancy. I'm just doing ciders tonight. But
yeah.
To go back to your earlier comment, like I am citing some tea as well, because alcoholic or not, you're welcome. Like, when the show first started, like, when I started watching a few years ago, I was actually exclusively drinking root beers back then during the show.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you don't have to be drinking alcohol to party hard with us.
Right,
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and some days I'll open really big beers. I've got 14% stouts and barrel aged stuff all over the place.
Yep.
I also really enjoy hopped waters. Klausthaller out of Germany has some exceptionally good, just non-alcoholic hopped waters. I'm a big fan of Athletic Brewing with their non-alcoholic beers, especially their golden and their IPAs. Those are freaking fantastic. I like drinking tea. I like drinking coffee. I also like cocktails. So but it doesn't have to be alcoholic. So
I just want you to know, by the way, I typed up that super chat an hour ago.
I was wondering if you had that one already holstered.
That's why I haven't been replying in chat, because I was waiting for the point where I was opening before I can hit that so I can do normal typing in chat.
Nice. Well, thank you as always. Much appreciated.
I'm going to keep with the status codes. I had to look up what tonight's was, and I'm like, what pun do I do with this?
Yeah.
It's like other people have been trying to snipe me on the pun lately, so I'm like, I have to do it as early in the show as possible. And I'm like, oh, you expect me to drink a cider. I know you do, because you've actually brought ciders in when I've brought other things.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to ruin your expectation tonight.
Yeah.
But no, I do legitimately. Like, I got my tea right here.
Yep.
I also have like a glass of water as well. So like, I am rotating around and keeping myself hydrated and healthy in different ways.
Yep.
So.
I've got actually my LTT bottle is down on the floor here tonight. Normally I have my own water bottles down here, but I was rocking the LTT one yesterday and today.
Nice.
So, yeah, I really like the gold that they did on this one. It's one of my favorite looks from them.
Yeah.
So
is it just like a gold type metal with like a black paint that they etch off like you do with a laser?
No, this one is not laser etched. This one is a screen printing.
Okay, so it's a black bottle with gold screen printing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And it's a really high quality coat. I really like the job that they did.
Oh no, the thing is, like, I try. It's just slightly out of range. I was gonna say, like, I have like 2 of the LTT screwdrivers just literally like a foot or 2 out of range from my reach right now.
I got mine. So there you go. Yeah, I've got this one, and I have the precision kit too. Here we go. I got both. So.
Yeah, I have 2 of the big one. I have the stubby and the precision kit.
Yeah, I don't have the stubby, but I do have the precision kit, and let me tell you, this goes in my travel bag anywhere I go now.
100%. Yeah, because I also have the like the iFixit Manta kit, which has a lot of good stuff, but I've been back and forth. Yeah, no, so that's the smaller one. The Manta kit has like the bigger driver and the smaller driver and bits for both, so it's about twice the size.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, I go back and forth, and like sometimes I like one driver better than another for whatever project I'm working on.
Sure. Yeah.
Like especially like game consoles and stuff, right? How far can the bit fit inside of like a game console has always been a struggle. So I'll have to use like a bit from one with a driver from another and mixing back and forth. But I mean, at the end of the day, like tools are tools. Like they all get love, they all get use, and that's all I care about. Like I'm happy with all of them.
Yeah. I've used ratcheting drivers before. I haven't been the biggest fan of them.
Same, actually.
Yeah. I don't find it that difficult to let go and turn, because I'm usually holding the shaft as well. I'm using that to balance, and so not just doing that action. It didn't come naturally to me. I will say, I really
not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. I had previously also bought a ratcheting driver that kind of changed my mind on ratcheting drivers, and it's good, but it's not nearly as good and high quality as this one. However, sometimes I just absolutely do not want a ratcheting driver. If I'm working on a server rack, I want to control exactly how I'm rotating both directions on a whim. Because if
no, for me with server racks, like I said, when I was in Hillsboro building a data center down there, we used drills, and at this point, I will never go back to screwdrivers for racking. Mm-hmm. Like you just set the torque level you want on the drill, and you're just zzz, 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 done. Especially like doing it as a home labber when I'm by myself. I don't have people helping me hold up the gear when I'm screwing it in. So I'm like, I'm one hand balancing, and then the other hand like just like I need to get one screw in as quickly as possible, and then like grab the second one and get it in so it at least stays in place.
Yes.
And so it's. Like at this point, that's all I do.
One of the freakiest muscles you'll ever build is your wrist muscle. From laying flat on a server and lifting up the backside and holding it there. This strain right here, man. It is real.
Dude, we got those beefy arms.
Yep. Geardos chimes in with 5 Canadian bucks. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. 2026 will be a great year for buy nothing, but sadly out of necessity in the computer hobbyist space. Yeah, it's going to get bad. It's going to get nasty. In fact,
that's a good segue, isn't it?
That is perfect. Yeah, I was going to say, in fact, that's exactly what our first story is about. So last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, one of those shows, we went a little bit more in depth into the memory unavailability, why memory price is skyrocketing, who's buying it, why are they buying it, etc. And stock has been bought out of memory fabs. Stuff that hasn't even been produced yet is bought out, and probably through the end of 2028. So unless AI pops and those orders get canceled, memory prices are going to stay high because there's no new fabs that can spin up. Over on the storage side, we're starting to see that delayed by just a couple of months. And so Kioxia has come out and stated,
I'm not Kioxia.
Again. Dang it. I always forget to change over to that before the show. There we go. Okay. Kioxia has come out and stated that the AI boom has meant that they have sold out of their entire NAND flash supply through 2027. So 2 years from today, Kioxia is already sold out. You don't get any.
That's crazy. Like, the thing is that normally, there's supply chains, and so for sales to be sold out for X number of weeks or months is actually the norm, not the exception.
Yeah.
But we have to think of like early supply chain versus late supply chain. So that means that vendors, like let's say if it was consumer hardware, right? It's like your Best Buy, your retail outlet is saying, hey, I need product for July. I'm going to put in the order in January. So that means 6 months out, like things are already purchased.
Right.
But the thing is that's kind of on a rolling schedule. So like, you're continually buying your 6 month out supply, right? So now that it's February, you're buying August.
Yeah.
And all the stores are doing that. But what we're seeing now is this mass acceleration where it's like, no, there's a few, and by a few, I mean, it's really only 2 or 3 players that have said, hey, what if we just buy everything for the next 3 or 4 years?
Yep. And basically it's a speculative investment on their part.
So like that's one of the, I mean, that might be one of it. One of the theories I've been looking at actually is they're literally buying it to shove it into a warehouse and not use it because they'll use it as quickly as they can, even because we have the power shortage with some of the data centers. But if they have the hardware, their competitors don't. So it's actually from some of the inside ears I've been hearing from, some of this has been hostile purchases to make sure your competitors don't have the hardware to outcompute you. Like it's getting like that level of nasty and dumb in the industry right now, and I hate it.
And in the end, we all lose. I mean, I talk so often about how competition is the lifeblood of what makes innovation happen and what makes consumers have the best product in the end. And when you have an instance like this, where 1 or 2 or 3 players is buying up 95% of the supply of particular components, they now control that industry, whether you like it or not. And it's not monopoly because it's more than one company, but it's pretty freaking close.
It's monopolistic. To be fair, though, you could just download more RAM or download more storage. I've done something similar here in my home lab just to get something to work, but recently a post went viral. Somebody used either Google Drive or Amazon S3 or something like
Google
that.
Drive, yeah.
They mounted it as a local storage device, put a terabyte file on it, and marked that as their swap file. So anytime they were swapping on the internet. So swap files are already notoriously slow as hell, right? Now let's swap to the cloud over the internet. But hey, oh, you just pulled it up there?
Yeah, so here's the Reddit post that someone posted, and links to a GitHub page. And this is literally as explained. Some dude put a swap file into a Google Drive, which you can use to supplement your local RAM. So he literally downloaded more RAM.
So on that note, I actually did something similar here at home. I was working with the Intel Joule. It's one of their tiny little IoT platforms. It was mainly designed to be like a computer for a drone because it has like high quality 4K ingest and like a lot of video processing for being a 1 inch by 2 inch by a couple millimeter thick board.
Yeah.
It is freaking tiny because again, it's designed for racing drones specifically. So very high speed stuff. But it only has 4 gigs of onboard RAM, and I hacked some drivers to actually get Windows 10 running on it before 11 came out. This was a while ago. But Windows 10, even then, on 4 gigs of RAM wasn't happy. So what I did is I mounted an iSCSI volume from my local file server and used that as my swap drive. So I put something like 16 or 32 gigs of swap. And the thing is, my file server is ZFS, so it's all backed by ARC and RAM because I have 300 gigs of RAM for ARC on that box. So it's like, it's all RAM on the server, so it's just whatever network latency I have. It's basically not even touching storage up on the server. But yeah, like I did this like 8 years ago or something, just as a dumb test to see if it works. And by doing that, I was the first person in the world to benchmark that processor in Windows.
Nice.
Nobody had Windows running on it yet.
Yeah.
And now, like, well, as we'll talk about a bunch today, Windows kind of sucks now, which makes me feel sad.
Yeah, Windows kind of sucks now. Yeah. You know what doesn't suck right now? Our sponsor of today's video. While I enjoy building out my home lab, and apparently all of you enjoy watching me build it out too, and watching me suffer behind it, pulling cables out from my dusty server rack, it's fun. But if you're running a business, you don't necessarily have time to do that kind of fun. Managing your network infrastructure can be a challenge. Dealing with different vendors for firewalls, switching, Wi-Fi, and when something goes wrong, it can grind your business to a halt. That's where Meter comes in. Meter delivers an all-in-one networking stack that bundles everything you need into a single package, including high-speed wired and wireless networking, power delivery, firewall and routing, and even cellular, all in a single integrated solution that's built for performance and scalability. Meter handles everything from network design, procurement, installation, and will even negotiate with your local ISPs to get you the best rates on internet connectivity. All of that shows up in a single cloud-based dashboard, giving you clear visibility into every layer of your network. You get the connectivity your business needs, all for a predictable monthly cost. Best of all, there's also no upfront expenses. Meter ships the hardware you need today and will automatically upgrade your hardware as time goes on, ensuring your users and your business always have the tools and connectivity they need. Whether you're starting a new business, expanding to new locations, or simply modernizing an aging network, let Meter take care of the hassle for you. Visit meter.com/craftcomputing to book a demo today. Again, that's meter.com/craftcomputing, and a huge thanks to Meter for sponsoring today's episode. Yeah, that's recabling my rack video is the most popular video on my channel in the last 2.5 months.
Yeah. Speaking of that, because like we've talked about Meter in the past, and I've praised their concept. I haven't personally used them because I'm not in an environment to use them right now. Yeah. Otherwise, like back when I was working small business, I would have. One thing I've dealt with very recently here in my home lab is I did the transition from MikroTik over to Unify, and holy crap, the learning curve and understanding. It took me hours and hours of troubleshooting to realize one and only one problem, and it's that the way the default LAN is handled on Unify and the way default LAN is handled on MikroTik are entirely different and not compatible with each other.
Yeah, they do not talk to each other. Yeah.
No, you can. You just have to know how you configure the two to make them like each other.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of head banging against the wall to figure that one out. I've considered actually just doing a whole video on just like, this is how you make them play nice together, because I lost a lot of hours on that. And even just, I had one MikroTik device left in my network. I have a switch that's sitting right next to the ISP equipment in my building, because I have a few other things branching out from there for various purposes. And that was still a MikroTik up until 1 or 2 days ago. I swapped it out, and I can communicate with that device, but nothing beyond it. I had my WAN. That was working, but all I have some access points plugged into it, and they weren't communicating at all. It turned out it was just because I had to do something on my core switch to have compatibility with the old MikroTik, and I'd forgot about it, and I had to go revert that to make it play with Unify now. So in theory, that the switch I put down there, the Unify switch shouldn't even been working based on their own docs and logic. And so like it's just kind of this big mess of sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's confusing.
Yep.
So having the ability to outsource that, like as I'm getting older, I value my time. That is somebody else's job for a lot of this crap.
Yep. Yeah. I have stated multiple times, like I'm a hardware guy and I am a Linux and Windows sysadmin. I am not a network guy. It's a language I don't speak very well. I can look at a network diagram. I can tell you where things are at. I can tell you why things are configured the way they are. I can tell you the basics of BGP. I can tell you the basics of whatever else. I'm not the guy you want designing it though. I don't think that way. Just like some of my network guys that I've had in the past, you probably don't want them designing your virtualization stack. That's for a job for someone like me. And going back to the top of this video, we all have kind of our own specialties within this industry. And
we're differently experienced.
Yeah,
is the way that I describe it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, when I went to Hillsboro to deploy that data center, the guy I road trip down with, he was my network guy at that company. So like I was the database guy, he was the network guy, but we both understand physical infrastructure. So we're like, yeah, let's double team this. And, if there's an error on either end, we have overlapping knowledge, but there's also our specialties and it just quite complementary in the team skill we had.
Nice. Yeah.
We have a couple more supers.
We do.
You'll take the first, I'll take the second.
Sweet, sounds good. Jay chimes in with $5. Thank you very much, Jay. Jeff said Kioxia announced they were bought out of stock through the end of 2027, and I involuntarily yelled, "Holy F!" Yes. Yeah. And they're the only ones who have said anything, but I guarantee Samsung and HK are in the same situation.
Samsung doesn't have to say anything because if you put two and two together, they already have. Samsung is also a RAM manufacturer, and the production lines for RAM NAND is NAND. So RAM and storage, they're basically the same production lines. They've talked about how they can shift one way or the other based on consumer demand. Yeah. And they've already said they're backed up on RAM, which means inherently they're backed up on storage. Yeah. Like the one statement covers both as far as I'm concerned. They don't need to make another statement. Another super chat. We got $2 here. If I'm reading the name right, that's Me Love Scotch.
That's what I got. Yep.
Yeah. Seattle Retro Computing Society is this weekend. I don't know that term. Please enlighten me because I will be there. I like that name already.
Yes.
Where do I go? Where do I sign up? Because I am the retro computing guy in Seattle. So yeah, one of many. I've been involved with some of the other events and trying to help spin up another event right now. So yeah, if there's other retro computing people for me to go hang out with, or for anybody else in chat that wants to go hang out, please send whatever details you can, and yes, I'm interested. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can put links in the chat. Those are disabled by default, but you can reach out to either myself or Vince over on Bluesky, at Circuit Rewind and at Craft Computing. So you can feel free to share details at us on those.
They just said Kirkland, and the thing is, Kirkland is cool because it's a tech area. Kirkland sucks because it is a tech area.
Right.
And that the whole east side over there across the bridges, their whole ethos, except for maybe a small section of downtown Redmond, has the hardcore assumption that you drive a car. Yes. We do not accept people that take public transit over there, except for people who are going to Microsoft for work. If you're trying to take public transit from Seattle or anywhere else in the region trying to get over there, it's a no-go, which actually makes it for people like me complicated to do events on the east side. Yeah. And even once we get the light rail going, light rail versus where events are located don't line up to one another. Where the buses run and where events are located don't line up to one another. Yep. So just in general, that's kind of what has this divide between east side and west side, is that we have somewhat decent transit with our buses here in the downtown Seattle core, but trying to go east side, it's just When I worked over there, it was only like 6 miles from where I'm at, and it took about an hour and a half on transit. Like, it was god awful bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once you're off transit, the streets are built in such a way that they're very anti-pedestrian, and people drive anti-pedestrian over there.
Yeah.
Where, like, just crossing the street, because I only had to cross one street to go from the bus stop to work. I had to watch all 4 directions of that intersection, and simultaneously, regardless of the light color, for fear of getting hit every single day I went to work. Like, I hated it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like the way things are over on the east side in general. And the thing is, like, it's the same drivers, but the thing is, the way you build your infrastructure puts people in a certain mindset, whether they are to look for pedestrians or not. By making it anti-pedestrian, there becomes less pedestrians. Therefore, cars assume there's less pedestrians. Therefore, there's less attention for pedestrians. And so it's kind of like this chain of events. Versus like the neighborhood I'm in, it's built for pedestrians. Therefore, cars know there's pedestrians. Therefore, they'll slow down and be more attentive to pedestrians. And so it's like this. All of this is kind of a chain of things that a lot of people don't realize unless you're actually analyzing how city infrastructure is actually built. Channels like Practical Engineering, he goes into a lot about city engineering and things like that, which is really nice. And there's a couple other good channels for that. So yeah.
But yeah, we found the website, and Me Love Scotch chimes in with another $5. Thank you very much. Organizer Building has the patent for the Windows Start button. SeattleRetroComputing.com. It's open to all parking on the street. And according to this, they're meeting on January 24th and February 28th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. So, cool.
I think I actually did hear of this organization when I was at the last Interim Computer Festival, which is another group here in Seattle. But that group has, that event, as far as I know, is on hold to replace it with Vintage Computer Festival coming back to the Northwest. Yeah. So I still need to get in touch with them again to see what our plans are, because that's supposed to happen in May, as far as I know. And I would like to see a larger event like that back. But again, that's in a location that it's not as transit friendly, and so you're going to have to drive to it. And so I'm just somebody who's big on having events and locations that are accessible to people who don't drive, because not everybody does.
Yeah.
And like, when you say like an event is for everybody, you have to take that into consideration of who everybody is and how do they mobilize to your event.
Right.
It's just one of those things that it's kind of like an inherently unknown way to exclude certain classes of people.
Yep.
And it's something that I've always been kind of passionate about.
Yeah. Not only that, accessibility concerns and things like that. So.
Yeah, because there's always this argument that, oh, you need to have van accessibility for people in wheelchairs, but statistically speaking, someone in a wheelchair is more likely to ride public transit than to be able to own a van that accommodates a wheelchair.
Yep. Yeah. Wheelchair conversion vans are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're in a wheelchair, you have less mobility, which means less job opportunity, which means you make less money, so you can't afford it. It's one of those things where it's like, if you have to look at the entire, know, we're talking supply chains here. Look at supply chains of somebody's life, right? So yeah, getting a little preachy here, but it's just kind of like, when we say like we want to support everybody, things like public transit is how you literally support everybody.
Yep. Speaking of a little bit ago, Satya Nadella, he made some comments this week that are causing some waves because of the AI totally not a bubble. Hey, can you explain to us why AI is not a bubble? And he said, well, the reason it's not a bubble is because if it was a bubble, only the tech industry would be benefiting, which is weird because the economy as a whole is up 17%, but the tech industry owns 60% of that increase. And basically, they're the only positive growth in the economy as a whole. So tell me again how it's not a bubble. But that's actually not the comment that he's under a little fire for. He's under a little bit of fire because he is putting the onus on us as consumers and the users of products like Microsoft and Copilot 365, which was Office 365, but now it's Copilot, so they can say they sold a bunch of Copilot licenses. is we, the consumers, it is up to us to figure out how to do something useful with AI, or Microsoft is going to lose the social permission to burn so much electricity on it.
Yeah. The thing is that, like, I will admit, like, I've been using AI extensively lately for a couple projects, but I've been using free AI, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Just like the .com bubble, everyone wants to make those comparisons. There were paid services and there were free services.
Yeah.
And you used to have to pay to have an email account. Technically, you know, they're trying to push back into that realm. That's been a big push for the past several years.
Yeah.
Like Google and Microsoft having premium accounts. But you can go get a Gmail account for free right now. You can get a Hotmail account for free. Oh, wait, no, that's Outlook now. What do they call it? Is it Outlook? Whatever Microsoft calls it. But it's like, where do the dollars come from? And so the dollars eventually started coming from advertising and selling your data, right? But if you look at the early .com, like, a lot of sites went under because they didn't have a financial model, but a few of them figured it out.
Yeah.
Amazon, eBay, PayPal were three of the really big ones early on to figure out how to make money in the .com.
Yep.
Right now, Microsoft, OpenAI, and all the others, they're trying to figure out who is going to be the Amazon, who figures out that formula that says, hey, this is something consumers are willing to pay for. Because that's where we're at right now. Like I said, I use AI quite a bit right now for certain projects, but those projects are primarily just replacing Google search.
Yeah.
Because Google search will be like, hey, here's documentation on a piece of hardware. I'm like, well, I have 3 pieces of hardware. I want them to talk to each other, and I want them to talk to each other with these specific constraints. Documentation can't do that. Documentation is just like, here's my documentation, here's the documentation, you figure it out.
Yeah.
Versus with the AI, it can be like, okay, pull in all of these resources, find out the commonalities, find out the differences, give me the summary results, give me the reference so I can go validate it myself.
Yep.
Like, tell me where in the document you pulled that from so I can go and figure out the last mile myself.
Yep.
But right now, I'm using the free versions to do that. So where's the money coming from? OpenAI said they're adding ads, which actually my account does have ads now. Do you know what the ad is?
What's that?
It's a tiny, tiny little circle at the top that just says something like more info or more something. Like, it's like three words or something.
Yeah.
It's not even a banner ad like we used to have on the web. It's just a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And it's out of the way, and I don't even have to think about it. I'm like, it's kind of like having a cell phone with a notch for the camera. That's what it looks and feels like. It's that small and out of the way.
Wow.
Like after a few seconds, I'm like, oh, that new thing is there that they said they're going to add. All right, let's just get back to work, and I just forget it's there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, owning a cell phone with a notch. The first day, I'm like, oh, well, that's annoying. I've had cell phones with notches for a few years now, and I don't even think about it. It's like
mine's literally just a dot.
Yeah, and mine is just a dot at the top too.
Yep.
But it's like it's up here where the notification bar is anyway.
Right.
So it's like, eh.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel with what OpenAI is trying right now. So there isn't a revenue model right now. Somebody will figure it out. That's the thing. Like, I don't deny that somebody's going to figure it out, but the amount of money going in and the amount of money coming out, there's going to be like probably a 10-year gap on that, just like there was with the .com bubble.
Yeah. Like,
a lot of money went in, 99% of them failed, and only a few of them, like I said, Amazon, eBay, PayPal. I don't know what those are going to look like, and I don't know what companies they're going to be, because it's not the ones that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
I do know of one company doing some really cool stuff with it, but it's not $1 trillion like worth of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which is the level these companies are being evaluated at.
And the interesting part of all this is right now you really have, this is going to sound a little counterintuitive, you have one company that is basically selling all of the AI hardware over in NVIDIA, but I don't know that NVIDIA is the most well-positioned to win the AI battle, even in the hardware space, because Google in their own right is designing their own hardware, running their own models on their own systems that they're developing internally and paying 10 cents on the dollar for what they'd be paying NVIDIA for accelerators for, and doing an overall better job at monetizing it. NVIDIA is building the hardware, but they're not monetizing the software. They're not doing the development. They're not telling you what to run on it. They're simply giving you an engine for for that platform to run on. OpenAI is developing the software, but not the hardware. They're basically tuning their own thing to run on a specific engine, which is CUDA in most cases, although they do have ROCm support and various other things. But
OpenAI don't even own their own data centers, despite what people think.
Right, exactly. They're a software company that is entirely reliant on the hardware that they're receiving, and completely reliant on investor money to eventually turn a profit. If that profit doesn't come, and the word on the street is fairly quickly at this point, they might be done. If other companies are starting to develop their own in-house AI hardware, NVIDIA is going to go right back down to the same accelerator market that they had before, which was not unsubstantial, but it was 40 times less than they are now.
Right. Got, I think 3 super chats pending now.
Yes. Simba chimes in with $10. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I swear this feels like another .com bubble. I would not be surprised if this bubble pops hard and several of these companies liquidate and disappear within weeks. Yeah, the news is that by the end of this year, OpenAI is going to be out of money unless they start turning a profit, which, they're promising like $50 billion of investment. They didn't even have $3 billion in revenue last year. And they're going to spend $50 billion? From where?
To be fair, though, in startup culture, traditional business startup, we're not talking the AI BS, it is expected in your first 10 years of operation you do not turn a profit.
Correct.
The number is 10.
But they don't even have the revenue to spend what they're promising to spend now.
Right, yeah. So the issue right now is not that they're spending money; it's that they're spending faster than they were projected to spend.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it is expected within your first 10 years you're not going to turn a profit. Mm-hmm. Go look at companies like Facebook or again like Amazon and eBay and PayPal and all of them. Like none of them made money in their first several years.
Right.
That's the whole reason why you have these seed investors and things like that, and angel investors and all sorts of different investors. But there has to be some sort of path and future, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, who's going to be the company that figures out the formula to have a financial stream coming from AI?
Right.
And right now, that's hard.
Yep. Home Hazards. Hello, sir. Chimes in with $5. Wait, you're finding documentation on hardware? Repairability was a myth in the 90s in LTT investment vessels. I
have a direct comment on that.
Sure, go for it.
So Microsoft has interesting documentation, especially on Windows NT4 with a certain program that I was having an issue with. That's it. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Milov Scotch.
Wait, no.
Okay, go for it.
Join the Patreon and come to the after party, and we'll tell you that story.
There's a great incentive.
There is a good story there.
Let's just pull that curtain back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Milov Scotch, another $5. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Today was fun. Customer was playing with their car ECU when I telnet over. Hold on. YouTube studio page decided to crash. I guess it's about that time of night.
Today was fun. Customers were paying with a car ECU. And when I telnet over to the CU Linux, which I'm playing with right now for something, CU Linux specifically, they chmod the main configuration file as read-only. So does that mean that you're not accessing it as root? You're some other user privilege level? Because even root should be able to modify no, CU Linux is embedded Linux specifically, and the reason that may be read-only is because you may actually be dealing with a write once medium, an actual
either that or it's loading it into ROM. And so it could have a flash memory that is writable, but this is probably their version of an immutable OS.
It copies the contents from storage into RAM, and then anything from there whatever just gets wiped out when you power cycle.
Exactly.
I literally have a device that just landed on my desk this past week that has exactly that going on with it. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. Once I figure out how to get it to work, it will be on my channel. But the annoyance right now is that apparently I cannot change the IP address of all but one interface on it, and it needs multiple network interfaces in parallel to have enough bandwidth to do what it does.
What century is this hardware from?
All those words together kind of throws a weird loop, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, you can't change
I'm
the
trying
IP
to
address,
pinpoint it.
but so it has multiple.
Decade didn't seem like the right word there. I wanted to use century.
I will say the ones that are locked on their IP address, they're all gigabit interfaces.
Okay, that helps.
The management interface, I believe, is 10100. That one I can change, but the actual data interfaces, the high bandwidth ones, I cannot change their IP address. Also, these subnets cannot overlap, otherwise the kernel gets confused, which makes sense. Like, older kernels back in the day didn't know how to deal with two NICs with the same subnet because they didn't know which IP to send the packets out on.
Correct. Yeah.
Got another super chat just now, another $2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys need to visit Medlock and Sons. I'll give tour. What is Medlock and Sons? I actually don't know what this is.
From collision repairs and battery replacement to buying and selling Teslas and EVs, Medlock and Sons helps you get back on the road. You know what? I'll shout this out. Independent EV repair? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. With a picture of the original Tesla Roadster. Oh, sorry. I mean, Lotus Elise. Oh, sorry. I mean, Toyota MR2.
Yeah, it's an older video, but I watched one from, oh crap, who was that? I forget which YouTuber. It's the one I normally don't watch. One I doesn't come across my feed, but it was a battery recycling center, I think in Denver, and the video's about a year or two old now. And they were taking Tesla batteries and putting them into a grinder and recycling the raw materials, like separating out the raw materials.
Yeah.
Part of their grinder is that they have a proprietary liquid bath that they do it in. That way it makes the lithium ion inert so you don't have the fire and explosion risk. But they would separate out they'd separate the metal, the plastics, the lithium, all the other like harsh chemicals into just these giant vats and then ship them back to the manufacturers to re-engineer new batteries with them.
Yep.
So I didn't realize battery recycling was that freaking good already.
It's getting far better than it used to be. It used to be, hey, once the lithium is spent, once the reaction is done, they're done. Because the thing that people don't realize about lithium cells is they have to live between a certain voltage or they die. If you overvolt them or if you undervolt them, they die. And they are basically non-recoverable at that point, or at least they kind of were. You can still rescue the raw materials and you can re-impregnate or re-purify the lithium and then produce new lithium, but it is an extremely involved process because lithium is an alkali metal, which means it is one of the most reactive substances on the planet, which means it reacts with the oxygen and water that's in the air.
One of the fun things for me is I had some studio strobes that were battery operated, but I hadn't touched them in about 2 years. 2 years of lithium ion not being touched means it's dead, right?
Yes.
You plug in the charger, it won't even charge. I'm like, but I only need it for one weekend, and I just need these to work for a short period of time. That's it.
Yep.
They were not dead to the point of what you were just describing, but they were below what's considered the safety level where the charger will allow them to be
typically an individual cell if you go below about 1 volt. They really want to be at 1.3, but 1.1 to 1 volt, they start deteriorating very quickly.
So this is not advice. Do not do this. But I jump-started the batteries by bypassing the entire charging circuit and dropping voltage directly onto the batteries from my own voltage source.
That can help, yes.
And that brought them up to the minimum level. Like they were absorbing that charge. I brought it up to the minimum level to where the main charger would then take over and actually charge the battery.
Yeah, because
I don't know how much life the batteries have lost, though.
Right.
That's the thing. The lower the battery gets, that's permanently degrading the battery, where they will not charge all the way up. The other thing is, if you look at your cell phone or other devices or a laptop, and they say, "Oh, there's 75% charge left on your battery," those devices don't actually know how much life is left in a battery.
Mm-hmm.
They're only looking at the voltage and estimating just based on the voltage and nothing else.
Yep.
Like, it's and the thing is, like, voltage degradation is not like a flat line curve.
It's not linear. Yeah.
So the thing is that, like, as you degrade a battery, it actually just goes and then it just falls off a cliff at some point.
Yep.
So that's why, at least back in the day, I remember in the XP era, we had this. There's a thing where you can recalibrate your battery. All it did is it would just run your laptop till it drained and then fully recharge it. And it would look at that shutoff point and that maximum charge point, and then it would, like, figure out the values from there. And it's just constantly recording. And then it would build an internal graph to know what percentage number to show you. Things are doing that more intelligently in the background now, but otherwise, they're cheating and lying to you. That's how it works.
Yeah. It's like the signal bar that you get on your cell phone too. That's cheating and lying. It's based on a decibel reading of the intensity of the signal that you're receiving, but that doesn't account for interference. It doesn't account for local losses, transmit power, anything like that.
No, that's what I was gonna say. It doesn't account for the fact that your cell phone does not have as powerful transmitter as what the other side has.
Correct. Yeah.
I actually have that problem right now. I've installed overhead Unify access points. Almost perfect line of sight. I have signal loss sitting on my couch.
Yeah.
With only one of two APs. There's a chandelier between the two. But also, I think.
And you've got the vaulted ceilings. Yep.
I think I'm also having voltage irregularities going to that one particular access point from the way I rewired recently. So I have to go do some wiring in the server room too.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just like there's one specific spot on my couch, and it's only my MacBook that hates it, which MacBooks have notoriously bad Wi-Fi antennas.
MacBooks, they're actually okay on the Wi-Fi antennas from my experience. It's actually that they have it's a proprietary, but it's very hyper-aggressive band steering mechanism. And so if you have 2 or 3 access points that you're in between, it will jump on a dime to the strongest access point. And if you are directly between two with 77 versus 74 decibel, you might want to just turn one down, and that will actually improve your Mac because it's not fighting for that second one anymore.
Yeah, and that's the issue is, like, when it jumps from one to the other, you lose about 5 to 8 seconds of connectivity, and that's killer if you're watching a video. It's just like, oh, it just stopped. Or if you're working on a web page, or if you're, for me, my MacBook is my terminal for SSH.
Yeah.
When I just want to be lazy on the couch and lay down on the couch, and I'm like, I still want to get some work done on a server. Let's SSH in. Oh, I can't type into my SSH session because I don't have that echo coming back. Well, there goes that plan. I still have some tuning to do to get my Unify APs working nicely. For this stream, I'm hardwired in. Like, I'm not taking chances today.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do. Like, my chat, I've noticed a couple of times the chat has been a little wonky because I'm chatting on the MacBook.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if chat's delayed a few seconds, I'm not going to care because there's stream delay anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, for you, I'm like, for the video feed, you get a wire, dude.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No. So I run for my main house. I actually only run one access point, but it's very strategically placed. It's at the top of my stairwell, and what that does is my house is kind of like a giant L shape, but the top we're also in a split level, so the stairs are the center location of my house. If I put it at the top of the center of my house, the top floor gets excellent coverage, but all those signals bounce down the stairway, and we also get perfect coverage down here in the basement. I don't have to run a second access point down here, which is great. And then I also have another access point out in my garage, and that also has a little bit of power, so I can be in the side yard and on my deck and things like that. But that second access point is at 40% power, because I don't want that overriding the access point for access in my bedroom, because that's about equidistant from my bedroom. And I don't want my laptop jumping between those 2 points. So I've got one of them at, I think my main stairwell one is at 90%, and then the other's at like 40%. Simply so I can be out in the garage, it'll connect to that. If I'm anywhere else, it'll connect to the main one.
Yeah. So, like I said, I just have to spend the time to do that tuning. Plus, like I said, I was seeing in the unified dashboard some flapping of the device looked like it was the access point itself was in the network and sometimes out of it. The device itself was flapping in and out.
Yeah.
So I think I might have a power delivery issue because it is one of the ones that is 10 gig. So like the cabling and everything else is a lot more picky when you're at that kind of bandwidth.
Yes. Home Lab Hazards again, $5. Thank you very much. If TVs only have 100 megabit Ethernet, but also have USB 3.0 and run Linux, could you put a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet NIC on a TV? It depends on what they run. If they run Android TV, like some Sony TVs, yes, you could absolutely do that. If they have a USB NIC or USB port and it is accessible to the OS for something other than storage or power output, then yes, they will see it as a valid device, and a valid network device inside of an OS is simply a valid network device. So yes, that will work. Jay, $5. Thank you very much. That was Circuit Rewind advising us to apply voltage to the forehead.
By the way, I missed all of this. You know how you're talking about how YouTube Studio likes to break every now and then?
Yes.
I didn't realize that I wasn't just lagging. YouTube just flat out broke, and I had to fully close and reopen the tab even refreshing didn't work.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been missing all of this. Otherwise, like I would have been like laughing right along with you, especially like, you know, our own personal friends yelling at me in super chats.
Yes. Elmo chimes in with $10. The Elmo, the name of my first two microcloud nodes. Wire everything, just like Jeff's server rack pretty cable management. Aw, thank you.
Does that make Elmo a father?
Father of two? I think so.
Yeah.
I think officially.
Elmo, you have two children that you paid child support for.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so what you guys don't know is also by buying the naming rights, you also buy the management fees for said nodes. And I'm tracking power on a per node basis, and so I'm gonna send you bills every month for the power that particular node uses. So
what you do is you go sign up for Meter and have Meter manage those nodes for you and send them the bill for Meter.
Exactly. Vince, you lucked out. I mean, your node peaks out at 45 watts. That's pretty spectacular.
I was smart.
That was really smart. That was a good investment. little front loaded, but.
Hey, it's going to be worth it. I can't wait to see the what you do with it.
Yep.
Not just the content, but also just the hacky BS you do with it.
Yeah, I think your node is coming out sometime next week. So
cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah. And then Me Love Scotch, another $5. Thank you again so much. Apple can eat a bag. I bought a cracked screen M1, replaced it with a non-OEM, and OS will not allow brightness to go 100% because of it. Yeah. Apple is very anti-consumer repair, even though they shouldn't be. They find the little loopholes written within the laws of like, well, we have DRM applied to our brightness control for some weird esoteric security reason that we just made up. And so we would love to be able to control the brightness of the screen, but we can't validate its authenticity or that it's not stealing data from you. So we're just going to lock out that functionality. And, you know, if you buy an OEM Apple product or brought it to an Apple service center, of which will only charge you $600 to repair a $100 screen on your $1,000 laptop, then we'd be happy to get it up and running for you. Yeah, it's bull.
Elmo chimes in again.
Elmo, the child support is the Patreon and YouTube channel member fees. You're probably not wrong.
Thanks, Elmo.
Yes.
We love you.
You're absolutely correct. I recently crunched the numbers on my server rack. And it's actually gone down since I crunched the numbers because I also shut off my Epic Roam server. So I am 100% on the microcloud now for my virtualization stack, and it's been incredible this last week. But at peak, with everything running, the server rack was idling at about 730 watts. So that's 730 watt hour times however many hours there are in a month on average. So 30.43 days, I think, is the average month. At my current power rate to run my entire server rack, it's about $41.
See, So yours idle's a bit hotter than mine. My rack right now is around 600 watt.
Mm-hmm. Mine's down to about 670 now.
But
now that everything's final.
If the numbers you gave me previously are accurate, my power bill is almost double yours.
Yeah. We are on a co-op power board here. It is publicly owned power board. I pay, and we are 98% hydroelectric for power delivery. So nearly 100% renewable, and essentially nonprofit. I pay 7.4 cents per kilowatt hour.
So the thing is that Washington, Oregon, as a whole, like the entire state, both states, used to be around that 98, 99% hydroelectric across the board. Just because we have so many hydroelectric power plants, plus literally the largest power plant in all of the United States is here in Washington State, the Grand Coulee Dam. The only reason the percentage has gone down is because we've done a huge, huge investment in wind and solar. And so now we have more diversification in our power grid. But otherwise, like, that's one thing I've always been proud about here in the Northwest. It's like, talking about EVs, they're like, oh, well, the power plants also burn like all this coal and BS. And I'm like,
mine doesn't.
Not where I live. So like, no, EVs sound freaking phenomenal up here. And as far as the other places that don't have that yet, let's fix that problem. Like, it's not that hard to do the math of just saying, hey, let's just phase out old power plants as they're getting phased out. And as we're building new ones, just build green power plants. Like, and especially with how cheap solar is getting. I don't know how many of you know. You probably know the name Technology Connections.
Oh, yeah.
On Bluesky.
Angry dishwasher man.
No. On Bluesky, he's just been angry man in general.
Oh, yes.
The past week or two.
I love his follow on Bluesky.
And just yesterday and today, he has been going on a tirade over solar energy, and it has been phenomenal to watch. But he's correct. Like, solar and batteries, right? And the thing is, like, people just assume we talk batteries. We're talking chemical batteries. Go research this when you guys all get a chance. Look at Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls has water reservoirs on both the United States and the Canadian side. Those reservoirs, they pump them full of water during the night and release it during the day. And then there are hydroelectric power plants at Niagara Falls. And so you just have large water reservoirs like you'd have with a normal hydroelectric dam to store the water. And if you think about it, like in your city, a lot of cities, especially in the Midwest where we don't have large elevation changes, water towers are super common. What is a water tower other than a battery? You're using energy to store the water up high, and then you use gravity, the potential energy of gravity, to bring that water back down and fill the system. That's one type of energy storage. You spend energy to then later reclaim it. And there's a project right now to make gravity batteries, I believe out of like concrete or steel, where you just raise up, literally just against gravity, a giant freaking brick, essentially. And then you just have it on a device that, as it lowers, it uses that kinetic energy to make electrical energy. So you spend energy at one point of day to release it at another. What is a chemical battery? You spend energy to charge the battery.
Energy in, energy out.
And there's a conversion loss with electrical batteries, just like you'd have with any other. But at the end of the day, like, you're just storing energy to later retrieve it. And there's a million different ways we can make batteries to offset the issues with solar and wind. Like, we have technology, let's just engineer it. Rather than just saying it's impossible, let's put our big brains to it and fix the problem.
And YouTube's doing its fun thing right now where it's eating 100% of my CPU. There we go. Okay. I closed the tab. Now I get to reopen it. Because YouTube gonna YouTube. Yeah, consume.
A comment about extra large capacitors. The thing is that, like, in electrical engineering, we kind of differentiate capacitors from batteries, because capacitors are, the idea is that they are short-lived. Oh, hey, look, I have automated drink delivery. Here's some Honeycrisp.
Ooh, very nice.
From, this is Seattle Cider now.
Nice.
At 5.5, so not as hard as my last one. But, Capacitors are more short-lived bursts of electricity. Batteries are more long-lived, and then kind of that middle area, we have supercapacitors. And supercaps for us as computer geeks are used for storage primarily.
Yeah.
So you'd put a supercapacitor on a RAID card or a storage card. That way, if the server suddenly loses power, whatever is in flight in RAM would have time to flush out to disk using the amount of power in that supercap.
Yep.
Oh yeah, another comment. Capacitors also leak power like crazy. Yeah, that's another issue. Is that if a capacitor is not actively charged, it will just drop its power, usually in seconds, maybe a couple of minutes. Ask me how I know working on power supplies. My hand loves them.
Yes.
But yeah, batteries generally, depending on how you engineer them, can store them for like a period of time. Or like I said, those gravity batteries, you raise up a giant brick and then you put a lock on it to lock it in place. The energy is stored until you release it.
Yep.
Or like water wells, like giant water reservoirs. The energy is there until you release it. How long do you want the battery to last for? And you're not going to have pretty much loss at storage at that scale. Except, maybe a water reservoir, you have a little bit of evaporation, but you also have more rain coming in. Like, that's just something you manage, and you just engineer for that. That's a thing, and so you engineer around it.
Yep, exactly. My second brew of the night, again from Ninkasi. This is their experimental IPA, or their XPA, 6.5%. This is the one that they literally just throw a bunch of hops into a vat and see what happens. It's different almost every time you get it. It always comes out at 6.5%. So they do like flatten it out and dilute it a little bit to keep it fairly consistent as far as that goes. But featuring newly developed experimental hops and hop aroma extracts, this ever-evolving experimental XPA continually seeks out exciting new hop experiences to showcase this bright, crisp IPA. Yeah, it's always different and it's always pretty good. So.
Jay chimes in, asked this last week, but now it's on topic. Yay! Do we have consensus on the Donut Lab solid-state battery announcement? Are they full of crapperoo or electricity? I don't actually know that announcement. I don't know who Donut Labs is. I know Donut County, the game, but that's entirely different. That's where you have a giant hole, kind of like Katamari, where you're sucking stuff into a hole. The hole gets bigger as you suck stuff in. But I do not know who Donut Labs is, and I'm assuming, Jeff, the look on your face, you're probably opening it right now.
I don't necessarily. I hadn't heard of Donut Labs before, but I am aware of a couple of claims of solid-state batteries coming out. There's the long and short of it, I think is summed up here. Scam. If you're going to announce something, show it to us. I want to see a working demo. I want to see hardware in hand, on a table. How does this work? Even in like a rudimentary project style, breadboarded out, I don't care. But show it working. They haven't produced a working prototype yet.
On that note, I watched a video from our good friend Dr. Ian Cuttress this week that he just published, talking about optical interposers for chip-to-chip talking.
Yep.
And he showed a clip from himself last year at one of the conferences with the company developing the tech, where he just raised his hand and was like, hey, can you show us a working prototype?
Yep.
That was his question. And then he was talking about how, like, literally in his DMs before he even left the conference, people were already thanking him for doing that, because it was on a live stream that he did that on.
Yeah.
It was a big Q&A session. And yeah, that's kind of how we feel about this technology and a lot of technologies. It's like, show us a working prototype.
Yeah.
We don't need the end-all, be-all, end product. Show us the POC, the proof of concept.
Yep.
Like, show us a thing actually doing the thing you claim the thing is going to do.
Yep. And optical interposers do exist. Following that point a little bit, Intel uses them a little bit in some of their chip-to-chip communication. On die communication, they're starting to go optic instead of electrical for some of their stuff. NVIDIA uses this in some of their ConnectX products. It does exist.
HP showed it off over a decade ago as a prototype.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it might have been as long as 15 or 20 years ago. It was a long time ago, where they had an optical link directly on a compute chip. But yeah, to your question about Donut Labs, though, it's kind of the same idea. Like, just show us something. Like,
Yep.
until you showed something, scam.
Yep.
Ooh, we have a new member.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for joining. Much
Hello,
appreciated.
Greg.
Hello. Yeah, and the comments seem to agree with what I've heard as well. Yeah, Donut Labs is full of it.
The bull-de-doos.
Yeah, Donut Labs solid state battery powered motorcycle turns heads at CES, but big questions remain. Like, is it actually solid state? Can you prove it? Is there a working demo? Nope, these are all just renders.
So I haven't looked into this, so I'm just going to speculate. Basically, they made a claim that they made a thing, and they used some buzzwords. But where's independent verifiable, results?
Yep.
I mean, Jeff, that's kind of like your entire thing as a YouTuber is YouTuber in the media space you're in is specifically to, test product and validate manufacturer claims.
Yes.
And like a lot of stuff you're doing is in the PC world, CPUs, GPUs, things like that. Like, oh, do the performance metrics equal what the company is claiming? Right. I think it was last week or the week before you were talking about the Intel chip where they're like, oh, it's like it has X performance. And you're like, well, the chip you had last time was double that. Why is this one worse?
Right.
It was like 144 versus 288 core, I think it was.
Yeah, it was the Sierra Forest versus Clearwater Forest. And it was in Intel. We sat at an Intel event 2 years ago where they were announcing Clearwater Forest. And in fact, 3 years ago, I was at an Intel event where Pat Gelsinger himself handed me the prototype 288 chip. I held it in my hand from the CEO. And then they went on stage for Clearwater Forest and said, hey, our new chip has up to 288 cores, twice as many as Sierra Forest. And I went, that's not true. And they went, well, we developed a 288, but it's not available. I went, that's not true because you sold it to Chinese hyperscalers. I can get online and rent one bare metal today.
Right now.
Right now.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Right. And so before the final public announcement of Clearwater Forest and all the things that they did a couple of months ago, they went back and revised some of their slides because we called them out.
And that is the job of a reviewer is to really be like, you're truly reviewing and hold companies accountable for the claims that they make. Like, my YouTube channel, that's mostly not the realm I'm in. I built my channel to literally be a parody of you and a few others. That was the intent anyway. And then I made two really serious, hardcore videos about topics that were not properly documented. And I'm like, well, crap, I'm actually doing something real. Now I have to keep doing something.
Right.
Like,
It's funny because, I started my channel on a bet from a couple of friends. So I had a pretty tight-knit group of friends, mid-2010s. Like, we played basketball like every Thursday morning. We would meet up and hang out. We were probably seeing each other 2-3 nights a week, doing various things, involved in projects together. And then within a month of each other, both of them got jobs in different states. And my friend group evaporated overnight. And I'm like, what the hell do I do now? And I was talking to them just on FaceTime, and they're like, you don't shut up about the things that you work on, like, ever. Why don't you just turn on a camera? Why don't you just freaking turn on a camera and do it? And I went, you know what? All right. I think I'm going to try. And honestly, I started off my channel modeling after some of the tech YouTubers that I looked up to at the time. You look at Paul's Hardware and Bitwit, a little bit of JSU Sense, Linus Tech Tips, channels like that. Yep. Where it's equal parts entertaining and experimental and serious journalism review and kind of everything in between. And there's no reason you can't have fun while also being a serious journalist or engaging in 100%. Some high-level stuff. And the beer for me was literally just a hook to incorporate a little bit of local flair because I'm in Oregon. There's not many YouTubers who come out of Oregon. Like, we're not the most populated state, out there. And I'm like, well, what can I do to kind of incorporate where I'm from? And I went, between us and Washington, where Oregon and Washington, I believe, produce like something like 72% of the world's hops. Like, it's a lot.
But also, like we were mentioning earlier, with the thing with sports, what a lot of people elsewhere in the country and the world don't realize with sports here, it's like Seattle Seahawks are doing great right now.
Mm-hmm.
What is the next closest NFL team after the Seahawks geographically?
The 49ers, which are 1,400 miles away, or the Denver Broncos, which are also like 1,500 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah, and for you not miles people, the number is larger when you look at kilometers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny because in Oregon, like, we have a pro basketball team. We have the Portland Trailblazers, and they've always been, fun to watch and things like that. But we were a college football state, Oregon State football, and then NBA basketball, and that's really all we had. Now we have MLS. We've got the Portland Timbers up here now.
Yep.
But,
good rivalry between our cities, by the way. I mean, I think
absolutely.
That's the only one we have.
Yeah.
Other than, except for maybe, again, college football, like you mentioned.
Right. Yeah. But when I was starting to become like a really big football fan, I wasn't going to be a Seahawk fan. Screw you guys. I hate Seattle. I grew up hating Seattle. Everything about Seattle. I hate the
same
way
actually.
I hate the way you dress. I hate the way you look.
You're welcome. I live here now.
Right,
I grew up hating Seattle too. So
I love Seattle. I hate your teams. But I'm like, well, I'm not going to be a Seahawks fan. Well, what's next closest? San Francisco? I'm not going to be a San Francisco fan. Are you kidding me?
Oh, no.
And then it's like, okay, maybe Denver. But those are the three equal teams, and they're almost all equidistant from me. So I'm like, screw it. I don't want to be like a regional fan that's 3 states over or a state and a half over. Like, that's stupid. So I'm a Detroit Lions fan because I grew up watching Barry Sanders on Sundays, and I've been a
good choice.
I've been a Detroit Lions fan for 35 years. Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, chat, you were awesome. You guys are on fire tonight. We have a backlog of messages. So, Home Lab Hazards, new member. Thank you much. You want to show off their video that they were asking you to show off?
Sure. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. So let me go down to the DM. Okay, it is a YouTube, so let me copy the link.
Yeah, it was a private link on YouTube, okay. If I recall.
Oops.
And then while you're pulling that up, Me Love Scotch again, Donut Labs for $5, by the way. Thank you very much. Donut Labs, it would not be safe at all, as the power density plus energy density claim would be greater than TNT. Oh, that is... Okay, let's go blow some stuff up. Well, if it failed, it would be a bomb. Oh, man, FAA is going to love this.
Yeah. Wow.
Jay, once again, for another $2. Thank you much.
Yes.
Welcome to Greg. We're definitely not a cult, followed by a lot of crab emoji. Again, join the Patreon and join the Discord and play crabs with us, which I feel bad because I haven't joined into any of your crabs because I've been playing potatoes lately.
Yeah, you've been on Brotato. I thought we were friends, man.
And I'm the one who got you into crabs.
That's right.
Also, I'm not sure... that was the message you typed. Okay, so Novella Hub for 65 months says, welcome new members. Thank you, Novella Hub, for just being around forever. Like,
absolutely.
You've been awesome for a long time for all of us.
Yep. All right. So I have Home Lab Hazards first video loaded. It's 1 minute and 13 seconds long. It's kind of a preview video of I assume what he wants or what he's aiming for, and said, let me know about the editing. Let me know what you think.
I've already posted my feedback directly.
Okay. Unfortunately, Vince, you won't be able to hear this, but you should be able to see it. So if you've already seen it, you'll have the audio. It's only 1 minute and 13 seconds long.
I'll give you a spoiler. The audio, I believe, was just music. It doesn't matter. It's just a trailer video.
Okay, excellent. So
yes, it's fine.
I'll go and play the music. It'll play through my headphones, so the audience will be able to hear it. So that'll work.
Great, go for it.
Cool. So let me switch on over to here. We'll go to theater mode. Hey, look, it's almost perfectly sized. Look at that. That's amazing. All right. Here we go.
Live reaction.
Recognize some of this. We're going to have to use some of the second. Holy Windows Movie Maker 2008, Batman. That's my first reaction to that.
I will say the audio for the video might have been loud for chat from what they're saying.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It was only a minute. It's over. Apologies.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Welcome to my channel. And channel spelled wrong. I love... God, is there nothing better than Comic Sans with incorrect upper lowercase and spelling errors? That's awesome.
Yeah, real quick. We have another $5 super chat. Thank you.
From Terror. Thank you.
Terror Pup. I've been a home labber since '98. Same, actually, about the same era. You can see all the retro stuff behind me, the retro shirt and everything. Like, literally my favorite era. I have a somewhat famous Windows 98 PC. I've still not made any videos about, and I need to.
You need to.
Started with a tower running SUSE 5.3 and bonded ISDN. Now that is like, you piqued my interest with that. Web, email, DNS, and DHCP. Good Lord, I am old. Same. Welcome to the club. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So bonded ISDN, or as we used to call it, shotgunning.
Spray and pray.
Yes. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I've been a home labber since about 2003. I believe that's when I set up my first home server, and I've had a server of some kind running in my house ever since.
Same.
So
I couldn't figure out the year. I know my first server was a full tower back when we still had those. It was a 486, but it had something like 8 or 10 hot swap SCSI bays on the front.
Oh, wow.
And I still have the chassis with nothing inside of it. And I keep thinking, like, can I build something out of this modern?
Right.
But that was AT
It'd
before
be an
ATX.
AT, right.
Yeah, but it's like, but at the same time, I do know how to custom manufacture PCBs. And I can do small scale surface mount soldering myself. I've not done BGA soldering yet, but do I learn that and do something really crazy with that chassis? Anyway, let's.
I'm thinking evil thoughts. Maybe we'll talk later.
Yeah.
I'm thinking something. PLX chips, something PCI Express expansion bays.
There are a lot of slots on the bottom of the single. Like I said, when I say full tower, I mean
when I hear like Gateway 2000 era full tower, you guys don't even know what we're talking about. That is a tower that is 2.5 feet tall.
This one might be closer to 3.
Okay, yeah.
No, it was it was designed to be a server in the 486 era. Like I said,
yes.
10-ish, 8 to 10 hot swap SCSI bays.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, it was a server back then.
Yeah.
I didn't have the SCSI backplane or the SCSI drive, so it was literally just HBA, IDE HBA cards that I was running all those ribbon cables, individual ribbons, rather than just having that nice backplane.
Yep.
So I used to use it for that way back in the day. And
nice.
A lot of that's been lost to time, sadly, but I have at least the shell.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have the side panels anymore, which kind of sucks.
So first image here, we've got a power supply, we've got a GPU on top. This is what looks like,
VGA.
This looks like one of the Chinese GT730s.
Yeah, because it's VGA, dual DVI, and HDMI, I'm guessing, looking at those.
And so this is likely Kepler era, and that heatsink tells me non-AIB, and so I'm leaning on like a Zilsi or AIX or some other Chinese manufacturer of one of those bulk GT730, GT610. Although there is a power connector on the back, which tells me maybe 750 Ti.
So the other thing I will say just real quick, down below in the bottom right, there's a laptop with an improperly terminated RJ45 plug.
Oh, God. The boot is hanging out of it. God.
Yep. You got to get that subtle detail in there. God. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, an unactivated Windows workstation, Windows Server workstation. I can't quite make out the build number, but
the the rest of it looks the Windows 10 era, I want to say.
Yeah, this screams
based on
like
the icons.
This screams like Server 2019.
Because of the black and white icons and the traits, the 2 layers of text instead of the 1 for the clock.
Yeah.
So that's the server that's based on Windows 10, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens when you put nerds together that actually know a lot of this stuff?
Yep. Who hasn't done this? This was what my server looked like about 2004. I had
Just drop a fan on it.
Yeah.
But also, is that a secondary power supply just to power extra things in the system?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. Been there, done that. I mean.
By the way, this case on the left is an HP Pavilion, and this was actually what I used for my first home server.
Nice.
I had an HP Pavilion. I believe it was a 330. It was a socket 478 Celeron. So actually fairly modern even for 2003. I think I had a 2 gigahertz Celeron in there. And I ran FreeNAS on it. That was my first experience with any form of not Windows or Mac OS was that. And also that same year, I also installed Ubuntu 6.04, I wanted to say, on my PowerPC G3. So 2003 was the time when I really started like expanding out in my knowledge of computers outside of just x86, Windows, consumer desktop stuff. What else do we have here? We've got a... Oh, good Lord. This is a laptop motherboard with likely an M.2 to break out PCI Express X16. Thus, the USB cable coming in for the PCI Express. So PCI Express 1 lane. And what looks like an NVIDIA 7000 series?
The other thing is, does that card have the bracket on it or not?
It does have the mount PCI bracket on it. What are you looking for?
Well, mainly because it looks like that's actually pushing it up, which actually makes it loose in the connector.
Oh yeah, no, it's tilted the whole thing like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, I do actually have a video where I ran I believe it's an RTX 3080 through one of those types of adapters on Windows 7 on a very old Windows 7 appropriate PC. I
was one generation off, 9800 GT.
Yeah, but I did it with an RTX 3080 because, again, like my channel started as a parody of you and all the other reviewers where, it's like, oh, we have to have the best CPU ever so we don't have bottlenecks. Well, I'm like, well, what if I put like a 15-year-old CPU on a 3080 and benchmarked it?
Right.
And then ran Doom 2016 on it.
Right. Because that's just fun.
After a half hour it loaded, it did run. I'm not exaggerating that time scale either.
Yocto says, Home Lab Hazards, this video is so cringe, I'm doubling your colo costs.
YOLO Colo for the win.
Yep.
Hashtag not sponsored, but really maybe it is.
By the way, I'm going to go ahead and subscribe live to Home Lab Hazards because... Oh, wait, I can't because I'm not logged in. Okay. I think I am subscribed. But yeah, this is my publicly facing browser, so I don't show anything. Obviously, the Lenovo Home Lab. This is the Dell Home Lab, but a staple of any budgeting home labber who has a PC recycler anywhere near them.
What's that? The bigger box on the left, though. That's one thing I was curious about. Is that a Sun system, or what is that?
It's not Sun. That looks like a white box, but it's got a quad 2.5, likely a SCSI bay, because it's a dual 5 1/4, but there's 4 drive bays per 5 1/4, which is just odd. You could do 2 2.5, but you cannot do 2 3.5. So that's got to be a dual 2.5 or a quad 2.5 SCSI adapter of some kind, if I had to fathom a guess. Silverstone Micro ATX. Those are IC Dock 2.5 bays times 4. Nailed it.
Cool.
Moving on, we've got the
Noctua. Real quick.
Yeah.
Home Lab Hazards did give another $2. I don't think we shouted out earlier.
$2 $2. It was indeed a blue-tongued skink, so I was close. There's only a couple of native lizards in Oregon and Washington, and an alligator lizard is one of them. But yeah, we've also got skinks, we've got newts, and we've got a couple other scaled crawly creatures around. Not much as far as lizards go, though. I think we only have 2 native species of turtles and or tortoises. Not a lot of reptiles in this area.
We got fish, and we have
a lot of mammals. We
got bears.
We got bears, we got rodents, we got skunks, possums, raccoons, squirrels. We've got a lot of mammals. Those are our creepy crawlies.
Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I love this image in particular, though, because most of
Who may or may not exist, why not?
Most of these images that have the weird, janky PCI Express adapters on them, and they're all different so far, right?
Yeah, I'm
pretty sure I own all of them.
Yeah. No, I recognize them.
Yeah.
And I've said before, like, Zeus reminds me of what I'd be doing if I were his age today.
Same. It's like, I own this hardware, I've done these experiments, I'm now on to other stuff.
If I rewind back to... I have this PCI Express adapter. I have this one.
I have a very similar one to that one.
Yeah. And we missed one in between. So we've got an ITX board. We've got just a 2.5-inch 120 SATA off to the side. We've got the Noctua L9i cooler, which is awesome.
I love the Noctuas. Real quick, also on that picture, I don't know why, but you're just sitting it on like a shipping package of some kind.
Yeah.
Just a shipping envelope.
Well, it's a it's a piece of wood or a clipboard on top of a shipping envelope, on top of a graphics card. There's a graphics card holding up his test bench.
All the subtle details.
I see all of this.
It's the gravity of the situation.
Yes. And then we've got another what looks like secondhand 750 Ti-ish era. Connected to an X6 or an X2 to M.2 adapter via a ribbon cable.
X4. I think that's actually X4.
It might be X4. It is wide enough for an X4. I think you're right.
Yeah. And the fact that it's going to an M.2, M.2s are X4 connectors.
They are, yes.
So yeah, you might actually have adequate okay bandwidth to that GPU.
Yeah.
Which you're running on VGA, which I appreciate. Thank you.
Shout out.
Also,
I'm not sure what this board is because it's also SODIMM vertically mounted memory. I don't know if you noticed that.
It's smaller than ITX, I think.
No, that is ITX. It's corner. No. It's corner to corner square. Or is it extended ITX?
No, I think it's smaller than ITX.
This is not Nano. No, that's a standard size up here.
No, because look, there's no room for the PCI Express slot. You would normally have room next to a CPU and RAM to have the M.2 with other stuff, and there's no PCI Express. I think this is slightly small. I think this is an industrial board.
I think it's an industrial board, but I think it's just one that lacks a PCI Express slot. Because that would normally take up this bay down here.
No, STX.
This doesn't look like STX. Can you confirm HomeLab has?
No, that's where I'm reading it from.
Okay, it is STX. Yeah, I was saying it doesn't look like Nano, and I was trying to think of what the other one was, STX. It didn't look like, okay. Yeah, STX.
I'm like, I was gonna like, that looks smaller. Also, I appreciate the ADATA because I do have a lot of the ADATA SSDs.
Oh, I had so many of these for so long.
Like you can tell like the colorful logo there, even though you can't quite see it.
Yeah.
Keyboard.
USB-C going into some kind of keyboard. It's not a Raspberry Pi keyboard.
Wait, no. Those two go together.
Yeah, do these go to? Yeah, I'm wondering, do these go together?
Yeah, because that's the cable for it, but it's using one of those magnetic connectors.
Yeah, it's a magnetic pogo pin.
Yeah, so those two images I think go together. That is the backside of the keyboard
with a giant USB hub attached to it.
Also, by the way, you have to be very, very careful when doing it because you're working with plastic. But if you use a heat gun on your hot glue there, the heat gun will reform the hot glue and actually make it really nice and smooth.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure you don't apply so much heat that you overdo it and warp the plastic or melt the plastic.
Yep.
I was using it. Now that I think about it, I actually have a micro tipped heat gun. It's actually a new one I recently got. I haven't played with too much yet. You can do really concentrated heat, but you can actually make hot glue look nice.
Yeah.
And because I know, like in the cosplay world that I came from, that was always one of the complaints, that hot glue is just ugly and it messes up everything.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's the booger welding of the crafting world.
Yes, but if you apply a heat gun afterwards, it cleans it up and it actually does look nice for sealing things in.
And you can make hot glue structural. It is a rubber component. It's a petroleum plastic rubber component. It's not all that dissimilar from a TPU that you would print on a 3D printer. And so, yeah, it's just a thermal polymer, just like we do on 3D printers. So,
if you want to do repairing of like retro electronics, like if you have a piece of plastic that is brittle, that is broken off, you may think to go to super glue. Add baking soda to your super glue.
That gives it a binder. Yep.
So it will make it, it will look and feel just like plastic. You can sand it like plastic. Yep. You can make it looks nicer, and it actually bonds better.
It chemically bonds with the baking soda. It gives it essentially a lattice structure to build on when it's curing. And it is an exothermic reaction, so do be careful to do it in moderation. But it is, if you add baking soda to cyanoacrylate superglue, it chemically welds, essentially. That's what people don't realize with super glue and certain types of adhesives like that, is that you are actually doing micro melting of the plastic to do the adhesion. And that kind of like helps in that process. And like I said, because you have the baking soda, it actually becomes more of a white color. So it'll actually blend in better with a lot of like those old beige plastics if you're repairing those on old computers or tech things in general. This is just common from inexperienced cable terminators. So
I see that all the time.
That's nothing scary. That's just normal. I do like the GPU cooler or the CPU cooler on the GPU. That is a nice touch.
Yep. Also, like that giant fan and all the zip ties to hold it in place.
I'm trying to figure out which made in China. So there is a UPC there, but the top layer has also been tin snipped. I don't know if you can see that over on your side.
Nice.
So I'm not sure what's up with that. I do appreciate the second fan on the side to cool the VRM on this guy.
Is there no power cable plugged into the Jeep? Oh, the fans aren't even plugged in. This is just sitting loose on a desk.
Yeah, this is just sitting loose on a desk.
Okay, so this is the display piece in this image. It's not actually hooked up and working.
Right.
Oh, which is fine. I appreciate this is at least new enough to use heat pipes.
Dell T3500 heatsink is what he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yep.
Just throw jank in a case.
Throw jank in a case, although I didn't notice the Vega
upside down
the Vega
Radeon.
56 Radeon on top. Yeah,
but it's upside down.
Yeah, that's either a Vega 56 or a 5700 XT. That's the only 2 years that they use that particular shroud. I believe that's a Vega 56.
On my Windows 98 rig, because it is a full acrylic case where all 6 sides are independent of one another, I've actually inverted the motherboard to be upside down. That way the power supply sits at the bottom, which with an acrylic case and all that weight, that's kind of important for longevity. But that also means that the motherboard being upside down, all the cards are on top, like what we have in this picture, and that inverts them. But that also means you can actually see the contents of the cards. And so I put the Sound Blaster Audigy as the top card at that point. Because that card is sexy looking. I love the look of the Audigy. I wish I could put the Voodoo as the top card, but the AGP slot is where it is. So that's still technically on the bottom now, but inverted motherboards, like a lot of ITX builds use inverted motherboards for better placement of the components where they're all plugging into each other.
He says, Vega 56 on the first AM4 ITX motherboard with a 1700X. Excellent combo.
One fan for the CPU, dual fans for the case, so you got that good airflow, like especially with the case open.
This is another one of those Noctua 90 millimeter coolers. I believe this is the 92AF or something similar to that. I reckon I've used that cooler a couple of times. It is also a banger cooler.
That's a Noctua tower too. It looks like. I think that's the Noctua logo in the center.
Yeah. The whole cooler assembly is Noctua.
Yeah.
And then the couple of SSDs hanging out the side.
PNY and something else. I can't tell what the other brand is.
Couple of Mac Mini servers here up top.
Yeah.
You can tell they're Mac Mini servers and x86 because they still have the infrared port on them. So these would be 2012, 2014, in which case you could get a quad-core i7. And in fact, if you have the 2012, it's an NVIDIA chipset with a GT330 graphics.
That MikroTik switch on top where you have it linked in and it's powered on with nothing plugged into it. When you just need spare 24 1 gig ports just at the ready for, the emergency situation. Like, especially with that server there on the bottom left that has a pair of quad NICs in it.
Yeah.
Plus the motherboard NIC. Like, if you wanted to wire them all up real quick and easy, it's right there, but you just didn't do it.
He said go back 3 frames. Hold on. You could tell from the round, irregular cuts that are pushing out from one side.
Yeah, I'm like...
Those are all tin snipped. Yeah.
Next time, take a blowtorch to it. Just have fun.
Right. We got a corrupted video card running Ubuntu. You could tell from the purple background.
I like how you got that. I did not.
It's all about the little details. You got to pick up on the little things.
I thought you weren't the Linux guy, though.
I'm totally a Linux. I'm a hardware guy. Remember? Let's see. Oil cooling.
Well, also that's his cursed power supply. He's used that for the BC250, I believe.
Yep.
I think that's the same. That's his bench power supply.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you just want lots of ports for GPUs, I'm pretty sure that was a mining power supply at one point.
Yeah.
But a lot of us in the home lab space have been buying old mining hardware just to have jank hardware laying around for whatever project we want to work on, because a lot of it is actually, there is uses for it in the right scenario besides just mining.
Can I just say 12 volts is 12 volts?
Assuming you have the amperage, yes.
On a power supply, on an ATX power supply, a server grade power supply, you could have 50 amps of 12 volts.
Totally.
Yeah, and so 12 volts is 12 volts.
So it's not in frame right now, but I am using the cursed laptop that has both a 1080 and a 3080 at the same time in a single laptop.
Yes.
And it has a 780 watt laptop brick plugged into it with that's just straight DC power.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can think about those numbers. My desktop is 750. This laptop is 780 for wattage.
Yeah. So
this is the home lab hazard right here that I'm using for streaming.
So I'm trying to figure out what's in here. If these are BC250s?
You switched screen, by the way. It's just us right now.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to figure out what he did oil submerge.
The cooler's not long enough to be the BC250s.
It's not a BC250, so what in the... But he's also only got PCI Express coming out. And he's got 1, 2, 3 of those at least.
They're on riser. If you look at
they're on riser. Okay, I didn't see the risers at first. Okay.
Yeah, they're on the riser, so there are cables going somewhere to something.
Bruh. All those are GTX 1080 Dell cards next to AMD's V340 Dual Vega 56. So yeah, the V340 Enterprise card. Okay.
And I just want to comment real quick. Like, the reason we're going through this video and we're giving Home Lab Hazards a lot of crap, they created the channel months, maybe a full year ago now, right? And we kept giving them crap. Again, join the after party.
Yeah.
About having a channel and being a YouTuber with zero content on their channel.
And being on 3 separate channels before he's even launched his own officially.
And having 50-something subscribers already with zero content.
Yeah.
And so they decided to post this video this afternoon and pinged both of us to view it on the show tonight.
Yep.
Just to be like, hey, look, there's one video. And it is live right now, by the way. I just checked. It is actually live.
Yeah.
So yeah, just it's just been a running meme that everyone else will publish a video before home lab hazards.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about making that a meme on my channel where every video, like after the end of the video where I'm like, all right, see you later, it'd be like 10 seconds of black, then I'll come back and I'll just have a counting number of how many videos I published before there's a home lab hazards video. You literally just ruined that for me. I was working on that.
And then, yeah, we've got an MSI card here at the end. Another L9 Noctua cooler down here, or that might be the ID Cooling IS30 or IS40. I'm not quite sure. I know Noctua eventually made the L9 in black, but I know ID Cooling also made a very similar looking cooler. He does have the Noctua Industrial over here on the side, which is nice to see. I don't know
I have a 92 mil slim cooler like that in black that's neither of those brands, and I can't remember who it is now. It might be Cooler Master, actually.
Cooler Master did some thermal right. Did a couple
yeah,
as well.
It's like it's not thermal take, it's thermal right.
Right, exactly.
They both exist in different eras for different things.
Yep. I also love that he pulled off the chipset heatsink. Did you notice that on this picture?
Well, I saw that and I was wondering if it was intentionally pulled off or if it was one of the boards where it's low enough power that it never had one.
No, this board had one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's also that giant heatsink over to the right of the fan.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That looks like some kind of industrial power supply or controller. I'm not sure what this box over here is.
Well, if the one chat comment chat is correct, a DC to DC power supply spotted. I mean, that could be a DC-DC converter.
It's a 9-volt buck converter, since STX uses DC power only.
Technically, every computer uses DC only.
Correct.
AC only exists to get it to the DC.
Exactly.
So they're 9-volt boards rather than 12-volt boards.
Correct. Yeah.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah. But yeah, we all ATX power standards are 12.5 and 3.3. And then on board they will also do 3.3 to 1.8.
Well, we're going in the direction, and I'm actually in favor of 12VO.
Yes.
Where we just only have 12 volt. Because even today, most modern power supplies are built to step down to 12 and then use buck converters for your 5 volt and your 3v3 volt lines. Exactly. Because at this point in time, your 5 volt line and 3v3 volt lines are almost 100% idle.
Right.
Nothing uses them anymore.
Yep.
If you look at SATA connectors that had all 3 SATA power, more often than not, the 3v3 line was never wired.
Yeah, it was not even connected. Right.
The few devices that used it would usually have a 5 volt to 3v3 volt step down on the device itself.
Yep.
Because there were so many devices that never had it that you had to, otherwise your device didn't work. And so if you're putting the power converters on the individual drive, then why does it even matter?
Right.
And at that point, then why have 5 volt? Why not just step down from 12 to whatever you need and make 12 the universal standard everywhere?
Exactly.
Except networking gear, which is 48. But I've been playing with networking gear, and apparently because of the voltage losses, you need 56, I think
56,
it is, to go to the switch to give you 48. That then gets stepped down to 12. That then gets stepped down to something else.
Yep.
DC voltages are such a pain for me literally this week.
Yep. Yeah, converting AC to DC is definitely the hard part, but converting 120 to 12 volt DC, we figured that out at this point. Converting to lower voltages, going down to 5, we are still wholly inefficient from AC to DC. There's 3 steps that usually need to happen to go, or 3 stages that you have to go to convert 120 AC to 5 volt DC. And so, since 12 volt is taking the lion's share of the input, that's what your EPS and PCI Express power delivery are, and that's what 99% of your PC voltage goes to these days, is powering those 2 components. Most motherboards now are not even using the power supply 5 volt line, and the 3.3 has been disconnected for a while on a lot of ATX boards. They're doing
negative voltages don't even exist now.
Yeah, negative voltages don't exist, and so what AT supplies relied on for signaling and things like that, they simply don't exist on modern power supplies. Modern motherboards are already starting to step down 12 volt to 5 and 3.3 to power their other components.
This was actually the big controversy with going 12 volts. So like, well, some devices need this, some devices need that. And it's like, well, we're already putting these converters on the motherboard.
Yeah.
Let's just put the converters on the motherboard, 12 VO, so we have a single voltage everywhere.
Yeah.
It simplifies so much of the design of everything.
Dell has already moved on to this model, essentially, with a lot of their modern parts. I mentioned this in the review of that Dell workstation I did a month or so ago. They don't have a 24-pin ATX power connector plus another 8-pin EPS. They have a 10-pin connector that connects their power supply to their motherboard, and that powers everything.
Sadly, though, I don't think they're using the 12 VO spec.
They're not using 12 VO spec, correct. They're using their own proprietary spec.
There is an actual official 12 VO spec, and that's honestly what I think they should be using.
Sponsored by Intel. Intel is the driving force behind that. Intel wants 12 volt to board.
Yeah. Anyway, voltages all over the place. I've obviously been learning a lot about power supplies in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Rebuilding and designing my own power supplies from scratch. It's been a fun little hobby. Maybe at some point I'll actually make video content of all the cool stuff I do, but
yeah,
I'm not a real YouTuber.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
I'm only slightly one tier ahead of Home Lab Hazards right now.
You and I were kind of on the same wavelength this morning. We both published or posted a couple of different articles, but you had one particular bugaboo that I really wanted to let you just go on a rant for. And
I don't even know what I want to say about this one because, oh my God, does this one piss me off. So go back pre you knowing me. I'm going to go back deep, Vince Lord here. I have another name in my friend group, and I actually have the .com for this, by the way. It is that much of a thing.
Yeah.
I am known as Vince Rants. Vince, I actually have a friend over right now. He just busted up laughing at that one because he knows.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's how I got my second drink without getting up.
Nice.
Thank you, Clayton. Hi.
Hi.
So Vince rants a bit here. Microsoft has been doing some really cool, interesting, innovative tech lately.
Mm-hmm.
Good and bad. Like, as a developer myself, I see both worlds of it. And there are certain things that I like, certain things I don't like. You can now... They built a new version of Notepad. They've built a new version of their terminal. They built a new version of a bunch of their applications. Some of these are actually open source, which... good. Like, we will praise the good. They're open source on GitHub. And Microsoft does own GitHub, by the way. Like, a lot of people forget that. Yep. Microsoft owns GitHub, so they use that to distribute and take feedback and take pull requests and improve their stuff. And their terminal application is actually decent today.
Yes.
Like I don't mind it. The problem comes in that it's cool that there is the Microsoft Store. Like, it's been controversial from the beginning because it's had a lot of issues. They've been trying to compete with Steam without understanding what makes Steam great, which is you put cash in, game comes out.
Right.
And everything gets out of the way. That's how it works.
Yep.
Microsoft decided to do some weird stuff with their DRM. And this week, yesterday and today in particular, something has gone wrong with their DRM. Because, for instance, on my main workstation, I'm not actively logged into a Microsoft account. So I can't purchase any software on the Microsoft Store, but any title that's free, like, for instance, Arduino IDE, I get from the Microsoft Store now. That way it auto-updates itself. Yep. I don't need to update it anymore. That's a cool thing of the store. Without being logged in, if an application is free, you can just click download and it will download and install.
Yep.
Microsoft software, like I said, Notepad and Terminal, they are free. You just click download, they install. Something happened where the licensing check for a free program is failing yesterday and today. So you can no longer open Notepad or Terminal or anything else from the Microsoft Store. Let this sink in. You click Notepad on your start menu and it doesn't freaking launch because DRM failed.
Yep.
I was actually thinking about this earlier. So again, I'm an old school Windows developer from the 95 era, 98 era. I wrote desktop software in that era.
Yeah.
132 API is dead simple comparative to a lot of other stuff, right? Programming's still hard, but it's relatively easy. And in the 132 era and before and later, Microsoft built a lot of pre-made libraries, DLLs that you'll probably be familiar with in Windows. Windows has a lot of DLLs that are just pre-made chunks of code to do things like automatically that you don't have to code. You can just link into Microsoft's code.
Yeah.
And when a new OS comes out, there will be a new version with the new features of that DLL. And it uses it automatically because you're calling into Microsoft's code.
Yeah, the DLL is essentially a library of commands or APIs that you can load up at will, and comes with every and so we know a lot of them in the gaming world, like DX9 DLL is the DirectX 9 hook in for games to access DirectX 9 within Microsoft
there's
systems.
Hundreds of DLLs for DirectX.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's basically the ability. Like in Python, you would load a library. On Microsoft, you load a DLL, and that
DLL
loads,
is dynamically linked library. It's literally a library.
Exactly, yeah.
So to continue with that rant, Microsoft has one of them called the Common Dialog common.dlg.dll.
Yeah.
If you ever noticed in Windows applications, if you go File Open, File Save, that dialog looks consistent every single time. You get a new version of Windows, that dialog gets updated, your application just somehow magically has a new dialog.
Yep.
That's actually something that ships with Windows, not the application itself. The application calls into it.
Yeah.
But that opens a new window, so that's a dialog window. But there are also the common controls, I forget the exact DLL name, but they're called common controls in Windows.
Yeah.
One of them is a text input field that you can do single line or multi-line. There is a multi-line variant of it. And then that is just something you can put text into, get text out of, and it's very, very basic. That's all it does.
Yeah.
To draw to the screen, Microsoft in their DLL has the call to draw to the screen. If you want to resize it, you just send it to command saying, hey, this is your new XY coordinate for the top left. This is your new width height for the bottom right. And that it's very basic commands back and forth. You can write the entire application in just a few lines of code.
Yep.
That's all there is. So all the drawing, all the user input, all the processing, everything is handled by that library. Notepad was essentially an introduction to UI programming in Windows. It is like 50 or 100 lines of code in 95. Because all it is it's, hey, these common dialogues and these common controls exist. Let's just call into them, put them into a window, do nothing else.
Yep.
The menus themselves, the reason why menus look exactly the same on all Windows things, that's why they work. And honestly, this has actually been my number one complaint about desktop Linux and FreeBSD, is that you have GDK and all these other libraries, and they're separate from the applications, and they're separate from the operating system.
Yep.
There's this trifecta of stuff, and it's not consistent, and it's all over the place, and there's no standardization.
Yep.
But anyway,
but
Notepad
Vince, we get choice over here.
God, I love it, but I hate it. But that's
Right.
how simplistic Notepad was.
Yeah.
From 3.1 or whenever it was introduced through Windows 10.
Yeah.
Windows 11 introduced new Notepad.
Yep.
And it was okay. But if you look at my channel, I made a video where I believe it was literally this keyboard I'm using right now. I hit 3 keys at the same time. It breaks Notepad. They broke the most basic functionality when they first launched it, where typing into Notepad was not working correctly. Like, think of how mind-boggling that is for an application that has been standardized and set in a core part of the operating system rather than standalone for 25 plus 30 40 years.
30 years. Yeah.
Standardized as part of the operating system to no longer be standardized in the operating system, to be independent, to have their own keyboard input processing control, and then screw it up.
Yep.
Like, that blew my mind, and I had to make an entire video about it. And that is, I think, my second most popular video of all time right now. Because I'm just like, that still does not boggle, like, I cannot mentally process how badly they screwed that up to make those decisions, all the engineering and everything else to get to that point. Close up of the keyboard. I mean, it's the 8-bit do keyboard, by the way. You can just go look up 8-bit do. Like, I love this keyboard.
Yeah.
This is my, like, good wireless. But then AI slop. They added AI and other features to Notepad. Basically, Microsoft removed WordPad, which was their enhanced editor that had just a few extra features. You could bold italics and do some basic functionality. They removed that from Windows, and they're like, wait a minute, that's still useful. Let's add tables to Notepad.
Right.
Yeah, Notepad, you can now do tables. You have Markdown. You can do all this crap with it. And it's just constantly breaking with everything.
Yeah.
And
do you know why Notepad was great? because it was 100% a pure ASCII editor. Is because you type in things and it accepts that ASCII input and gives you the character.
One quick correction there.
Yeah.
They eventually did add Unicode support too. That's like the real big change they made is that they had both ASCII and Unicode.
Right.
And then they left it the same like for more than a decade after. So it does do both.
Correct. But
so all you people that want to type in Japanese or Chinese or whatever, you are covered finally.
Correct. But at its core, it was supposed to be capture key, print key.
That's
period.
It. Nothing else.
Because there are scenarios where you need that. I don't want autocorrect correcting my
INI file.
I don't want it correcting my terminology or my words based on a known dictionary, because if I'm trying to type in an int command, I don't need it correcting it to in the with a space in the middle. Yep. I don't need it correcting commands and arguments within code to something that a human could read, but a computer cannot anymore.
Yep. So again, like I said, it is a mixed double edge. They added dark mode and broke everything else.
Yeah.
So I would rather have no dark mode in a functional application versus the crap we have now.
Yeah.
I'm actually at the point where I'm thinking I just rip the exe from Windows 95 and put it on the internet. I mean, it's already out there, but still, like, it's like it will run today because Windows will natively run anything 132.
Right.
And then it was Vista or 7, I think somewhere in that era is where they added the Unicode support.
Yeah.
The only special thing with the Unicode support is I do believe it supports what's called the BOM, or the byte order marker, which would be the first 2 bytes of a Unicode file will specify if it's like little endian, big endian, and a couple other things for how Unicode is.
Yeah.
And which Unicode encoding it is. That was the only special handling it had.
Yeah, whether it's UTF-8 or whatever the...
Yeah. Or UTF-16, which is actually Microsoft and Windows kernel internally was always UTF-16 rather than UTF-8.
Oh, did not know that.
It's easier to program, straight up. It is easier to parse, easier to program, but it is incompatible with ASCII. UTF-8 is compatible with ASCII, and that's why it won.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, as a programmer, I see both sides. Yes. I have lived both sides, and I'm on the UTF-8 spectrum because I like compatibility.
Yep.
Yeah, Jay, the keyboard has been on sale for I think $70 at its cheapest. It was 100 or 120 when I got it brand new, like when it launched. Also, with these 8-bit keyboards, as a retro gamer enthusiast, you might notice this one's Famicom color scheme.
Little Famicom color, yeah.
They have NES. Those were the first 2 colors. They now have an Xbox color scheme that is green, and they might have a couple others at this point. I don't know. Those are the 3 I'm aware of.
I just saw that one. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, the green one actually looks cool.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hot.
And then like your arrow keys down there too.
Yeah, the AVXY. That is.
So we were talking accessibility earlier, and that's actually something that's really interesting about this keyboard that I think more keyboards should do. It's kind of hard to put on camera, but if I shine this up, you notice there are actually 4 ports on the back of these. These are just your 1/8-inch mil like headphone jack type ports.
You can't see it on screen right now. Hold on, let me see if I can do that. It's because you can add these guys to it.
Well, not just that. So each one of these ports will take 2 buttons apiece.
Yeah.
The keyboard comes with what they call the super button. So it's 2 buttons that are just other keys. But all you're doing is bridging 2 contacts. You have one common contact and then a contact for a button.
Right.
So, headphone jack would be standard, a TSR would be a three pole, right?
Yeah.
It's just a normal 3-pole connector. Go look at the Microsoft, what is that controller called? Their ergonomic one. Their accessibility controller.
Oh,
Microsoft literally, they use the exact same interface. Anything that plugs into that will plug into this keyboard.
Yeah, Microsoft Adaptive Controller.
Yeah. So this uses the same interface as the adaptive controller, where that's the base controller, but there's hundreds of accessories for it now. And you can make your own because, again, you're just bridging 2 contacts electrically. Yeah, you see all the pins on the back there and a bunch of the accessories.
Yep.
So this keyboard has literally the same interface on the back of it, and it's fully programmable in their software. So we were talking about accessibility before. And that's one of the great things. Also, by the way, those buttons you were showing, the super buttons are this big. They're called that for a reason.
Yeah.
For a while on my main desktop, I had it set up as the Zoom hang up button, so I just smashed the I'm like, I'm done with this call. Like, I am done with this meeting for the day. And I would just like mash the button and it would close Zoom for me, which was hilarious. But yeah, like accessibility, little tweaks like that. I can't think of any other keyboard on the market right now that has that. So kudos to 8BitDo for doing something outside of it. And again, it comes with a super button, so it's encouraging you to use that interface right out of the box. They're not hiding it from you. It's not just some thing shoved on the side to get brownie points. They're actively giving you an accessory and being like, hey, go make more. Don't buy more, make more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been like the big trend with this in this space.
Oh God, I hadn't seen the Commodore one yet.
Oh, is there a Commodore one? I might have seen that. Oh, the joystick? Wait, what? Go back to that first image.
Yeah, hold on.
There's a joystick
There's a joystick with it. Yeah.
That is so cool. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all technically the same keyboard, exact same layout, exact same internals. It's just different colored plastic.
Yeah.
But we like our colored plastic, damn it.
Yep. I'm digging the Commodore with the rainbow up top. God, that looks good.
Definitely. Yeah, 2 easy buttons. You can call them easy buttons. You can call them whatever they want, but each port, at least on this keyboard, is 2 buttons. On the adaptive controller, you saw there's a whole array of them. So if you watch Twitch streamers or YouTube VODs of people playing games with like controllers in their mouths, or like different assistive technologies like that, that's the controller they're usually actually piping everything through, because that has the USB interface and everything else like that. And the whole idea of the adaptive controller was literally to be adaptive to anybody's needs and to make just a simplistic open standard for button presses and joysticks and other things like that. So people can just experiment, make whatever they need. It's not about Microsoft selling a controller. It's about gamers being able to game regardless of your physical ability.
Yeah, Microsoft debuted this, I want to say, at 2019 CES.
I want to say much older.
They were announcing it when I was at one of the CESs, or at least one of the companies was going pretty hard into it, because I remember walking by and talking to some of the engineers who had helped develop it.
Released 2018.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so you were much closer than I was.
Yeah. I thought I saw it at CES 2019 in January, where they had some of the engineers out talking about it.
Time named adaptive controller of its best innovations of 2018. 100%. Like,
yeah,
I don't have one in my collection, but I want one in my collection just to screw around with it. I think it is one of the greatest things that opened up accessibility of gaming. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be gaming, right? Even though it's Microsoft, its Xbox division is designed for gaming. But of course, it works on PC. It works on other platforms because it's just USB with normal protocols and stuff. But anything to get more people to be able to enjoy their life, whether it is gaming or whether it is something more day-to-day tasks, right? Like if you're wheelchair bound or something like that, this gives you the ability to plug in a bunch of accessories for you to be able to interact with devices that may be able to do actual functional things for you. Like 100% like love this type of technology.
Exactly. Yeah. So, very cool. All right. It is about 20 minutes past the hour. We blew straight through that. So I think that's a good place to wrap this one up.
Yeah, especially since my YouTube chat just broke. I can't scroll all the way down. The last message I see is scroll, and I just replied to him, and I can only see half of his message. So YouTube is telling us that we're probably about at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you again for joining on such short notice. It's usually when we get you on is when I call you at 4:00 and say, hey, what are you doing in 2 hours?
And I'm like, oh, I'm still building the wall behind me.
Yeah.
I'm literally working on that. All the tools are out. There's equipment everywhere. Let's get all that shoved to the side so people don't see the mess and they just see me. But also what's really interesting is I felt really, really bad the last time you called me up because the camera I was using for video looked like crap.
Yeah.
And that's on me. This is my normal recording camera this time. I didn't have the dummy plug for it for the power. And so after the last Talking Heads, I'm like, I'm going to go order this. Research online, this camera can be powered over USB PD. Secondly, I don't need Canon's license for the webcam control. I can set this camera to a mode where it uses an external video recorder over HDMI, and it won't power itself off.
Yes.
I didn't know this camera had that mode because it's not labeled anywhere in the interface.
Yeah.
Google said, hey, go and change this one icon, which is literally an icon, to this other icon where neither of them have text labels.
Interesting.
Doing that means HDMI will always be on. Yeah, the screen shuts off on the camera itself, but HDMI will continue to feed because the camera thinks it's recording to an external recorder.
Nice.
So the camera will run indefinitely, and then I'm like, okay, what about the heat issues? This camera is known to overheat. And every single comment said, hey, you're running 1080p, not 4K, you're fine.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm running 1080p to my capture card right now. It's been fine for hours.
It looks
like,
great. Yeah.
I had this running at least a full hour before the show, and it has been running nonstop because I was doing tests ahead of time.
Yep.
And so I have not tested this interface until an hour before the show.
Well,
so
I'm glad I could be your beta tester. That's great.
That gave me motivation to do that. Also, this is the debut of my new wall, even though you can't see much of it. There's a lot going on behind me.
I recognize a lot of F-Zero.
That's this section.
Yeah. Oh, I see the Hey You Pikachu down there. We got a Doom box in the far bottom left. We got the.
So each shelf is dedicated to a game or a franchise or something, like, for the most part, or it's dedicated to a console. So yeah, that Doom game is actually a full Doom shelf.
Nice.
So it's a 48-inch wide shelf of nothing but Doom items from the different generations.
Nice.
The Pokemon stuff there's lots of Pokemon stuff. 2 shelves to F-Zero. That's the exception because F-Zero is that special.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, sometime, Jeff, you got to get up here to Seattle to see what I'm actually doing because, I mean, this wall is 14 feet tall.
Nice.
The shelves go all the way up to the roof. There is a giant ladder just off of camera that my foot hurts because the amount of times I've been up and down the ladder. And when you're standing on a ladder, you don't have proper arch support.
No.
So, like, I've actually had to stop working on the wall just for my foot to recover. Yeah, it's been that much work.
I've been meaning to make it up to Seattle for a couple of days for a while. So yeah, maybe it's about time for a field trip. Maybe February 28th when that retro thing goes. I'll drive up and then we'll hit that and maybe we'll do something like that.
Well, we'll coordinate. Yeah, because I'm working on a retro project. Oh damn, I was actually going to have it on the table to show it off tonight. I forgot to mention that. I'll still make the video like I was thinking of making because I'm going to do a video like showcasing the wall initially, but it's not that much of a video. So I have, I was going to be like, all right, cool. This is the future of the channel. This is what I'm working on in the first big project.
Yeah.
Is reverse engineering some old esoteric Apple II hardware.
Nice.
Where I bought an Apple II NAS. I have 2 of them actually now. I know that probably boggles your mind that there were NAS.
I am intrigued.
Network attached storage for an Apple II that old. And it all started because I remembered having this as a kid in school. I went to the local ICF, the Interim Computer Festival, which was what we had instead of the Vintage Computer Festival. And I mentioned this, and the guy there with an Apple II didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Adrian from Adrian's Digital Basement was there, and I was chatting with him. He didn't know what it was. And then another guy just randomly shows up and is like, oh, I remember that. Started describing the interface on the actual visual interface on the Apple II, the menus.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I had that as a kid. He's like, yeah, me too. That night, I went online, and because I searched about once a year for this thing, that night, there was one video on YouTube. That was recent.
Yeah.
That gave me the product, the name, everything I needed. It was not the best well-produced, but it got me
now
everything
I can find it.
I found it,
yeah.
And I've spent literally almost $2,000 in hardware on this on eBay. This shit is not cheap. Because, again, I have 2 of them, and not just – this wasn't just for Apple II. They have network cards for the Mac. They have network cards for IBM PC and a few other things. And when I say PC, I mean the 8086.
Yeah.
Original PC.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of this hardware now, even a tape backup drive for it. Like, this was serious technology. I have dumped the 2 hard drives. One of the hard drives, based on what I've been able to glean from the broken file system that's on it, that's remaining because it is slightly corrupt.
Yeah.
Might have belonged to a video game developer on the Apple II.
Yeah.
And so basically, I'm going to make a video, and the whole premise of the video is that it's going to be like, hey, I'm doing this cool stuff with my wall.
Yeah.
I'm upgrading the studio. I'm working on long-term projects. This is my first long-term project. I have a dump of the hard drive, and I have this person's resume, and I think other content on this hard drive. This might have actually belonged to this developer.
Yeah.
There weren't many people who made games for the Apple II.
No.
Like, it's not like today where you have 1,000-person studios. This is one person who made 5 games.
Yeah.
Or some number like that. One of like 100 people probably who ever actually published big name titles for the Apple II.
Yeah.
And this person's resume is on the drive. So either they were the developer who owned this drive, or somebody who received this guy's resume, and there is source code on this drive.
Nice.
So I'm going to be, once I get this cleaned up a little bit more, I'm going to be asking for help to find this person and see what we want to do with this code. And get it actually figured out, because file systems are complicated. It's a mess right now. It's not like I just have files. I have a raw dump of the beginning to the end of the hard drive, and I'm deciphering the file system right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is not easy.
Yeah. Simba sends $2 and says, Corvus system? Is that the NAS that you're using? Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad other people actually know what it is, and just from description know the name.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've also been hunting down accessories. I actually have like a button to wear, like a solid 2-inch button. It's huge. That has their logo on it.
Nice.
But yeah, I have 2 Corvus hard drives. I have 1 tape drive, which I don't have tapes for yet. I don't know what type of tape it takes. I was going to buy 2 or 3 of the network cards for Apple II just to build a network to demo it.
Yeah.
But then I found an eBay seller that was selling 14 of them for the cost of what other people would have been 3 if I bought them individually.
Yeah.
So I might have accidentally ended up with 14 network cards.
I do have a 2GS out in my garage.
Does it still have the normal slots on it?
I believe it does.
If it does, it will work.
Okay.
So yeah, speaking of retro shows, like my target is the VCF to have it demoed there, and I want multiple systems demoing it.
Well, you can count my 2GS in on something if you need an extra box. I've got the 2GS and the monitor, keyboard. I've got the dual disk drive on the side for it. I've got a whole bunch of the other little accessories for it. So
what you're saying is we're gonna have fun.
We're gonna have fun. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go to my channel is gonna cover a little bit of content that existed before I was born.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not by much. I will say that this equipment is only about 2 years older than me, but
yeah.
I want to do that as well as some modern stuff that I'm also working on. So expect some tutorials too, because I'm going to tell you why your VPN is not secure.
Ooh. Looking forward to
That's
that.
one of the few videos I'm actually scripting, because I normally do every single video unscripted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I just rant off the cuff. But no, the VPN video, because the amount of detail I need to get into, I've been working on for months.
Nice.
And I just need to finalize the diagrams and then record it, because recording and editing is going to be quick.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a long video,
yeah.
But the amount of diagrams I'm making from scratch, all the artwork is going to just, I don't want to spend another 20 hours in Photoshop.
Right? Yeah, welcome to my life.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, that was just the rant about the wall.
Yes.
Sorry, I went off the cuff there.
Oh, you're good. You're good. This has been episode 417 of Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news right here on YouTube. Huge thank you to Meter.com for sponsoring today's video. Hit up Meter.com/craftcomputing to book a demo and see how they might help you with their hardware and networking as a service bundles. Book a demo with them today. Yeah, thank you again, Vince, for joining on such short notice. Next week, we'll be back live with one Tom Lawrence. That should be a fun show here Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, we'll see you next week.
417, expectation failed.
Cheers, everyone.
I had to get the last one in there.
Excellent.